Third part. Chapter 41, Getting Ready to Go Home. After Wu Di and Mu Qingyuan left, only Yi Chen and Zhao Ming were left here. Zhao Ming glanced at Yi Chen meaningfully, and then walked towards Yi Chen. "Hello, my name is Zhao Ming. I am the fish in my mouth. Please make friends." Zhao Ming stretched out his hand. "Be friends with me? Aren't you afraid of the Yi family? The Yi family hates me to the core," Yi Chen said teasingly, standing motionless. Zhao Ming's hand hanging in the air was a little embarrassed, and he retracted his hand sarcastically. "The Yi family can't embarrass me, a junior, because of such a trivial matter. The Wuzuan family is still somewhat tolerant." Zhao Ming was a little unsure. He really couldn't afford to offend the Yi family. "If the Yi family really had the magnanimity of the Wuzuan family, then my life wouldn't have been so difficult these years." Yi Chen felt a little helpless. "Although I really can't afford to offend the Yi family, you can ask me for help with anything in the future, as long as I don't go against the Yi family." Zhao Ming patted his thin chest and said confidently. Yi Chen was a little funny, but Zhao Ming was honest. Yi Chen ignored him and turned to leave. Then he waved his hand and said, "Then wait until I destroy the Yi family, and then you can come and make friends with me." Zhao Ming looked at Yi Chen's back and froze on the spot. What did he say? Destroy the Yi family? Zhao Ming couldn't believe his ears. The Yi family is the local emperor of the entire Yiling city, and Yi Chen actually said that he wanted to destroy the Yi family. Zhao Ming wanted to make friends with Yi Chen, but he actually felt that Yi Chen was quite capable and he was still so young, so he was worth making friends with. But he never thought that Yi Chen would subvert the Yi family, otherwise he wouldn't have said those words just now because he was afraid of the Yi family. Yi Chen's words caused quite a stir in Zhao Ming's heart. What a spirit! Zhao Ming was also infected by Yi Chen's heroic spirit. He thought Yi Chen was a young man with courage. Little did he know that when Yi Chen said this, he was just stating a fact. As soon as Yi Chen came downstairs, he met Zhao Hai walking over. Zhao Hai said with excitement, "Yi Chen, you made a lot of money this time. I didn't expect that the Konoha flower could be sold for a high price of 35 million. I will pay you the money later. I didn't expect that all this would be thanks to Uncle Zhao's operation." Yi Chen thanked him. Zhao Hai didn't draw a single point, but Meng Qi's bonus was still paid by the auction house. Hearing Yi Chen's words, Zhao Hai's lips almost reached his ears. I have to say that Yi Chen really doesn't look like an 18-year-old in terms of human sophistication. By the way, Uncle Zhao, I still have a calming stone here. Can you help me process it into a necklace? I'll give it to my sister. Yi Chen took out the calming stone. What's the matter? Our Chu Chamber of Commerce has its own craftsman. I'll send it to him right now and I'll get it done for you tomorrow. Zhao Hai readily agreed. Yi Chen handed the calming stone in his hand to Zhao Hai. Thank you so much, Uncle Zhao. When the necklace is ready, I will almost go back to school. Are you going back? Go back a few days early to prepare for the college entrance examination. Yi Chen nodded. My memory has forgotten that you have just awakened and have to take the college entrance examination. Zhao Hai patted his forehead, mainly because Yi Chen's performance during this period did not look like a person who had just awakened. Then I wish you good luck in martial arts in advance. With your strength, you will definitely be able to make a splash in the college entrance examination. I will send it to you as soon as the necklace is ready. He didn't know Yi Chen's specific strength, and he didn't ask. But judging from the exotic beast materials that Yi Chen has sold in the past 2 days, even if he is not a warrior, he still has the combat power of a warrior. In the college entrance examination, those who can possess the strength of warriors are the top geniuses. Zhao Hai sighed a little. Maybe I will witness the rise of a generation of geniuses, or in this small Yiling city. Then I'll borrow Uncle Zhao's good advice, and I'll go back to the hotel first, just in time to pack my things. Okay, you go back first. Once the things are ready, I will send them to the hotel directly, so you don't have to come over. Go back early. The college entrance examination is the most important thing. Yi Chen nodded and was about to turn around and leave when he found Xue Xiaofan standing not far away. The two people's eyes collided. Xue Xiaofan's expression was a little complicated, but Yi Chen didn't feel any embarrassment. He waved to Xue Xiaofan, and Xue Xiaofan nodded in response. Xue Xiaofan knew that this was Yi Chen's farewell. By the way, Uncle Zhao, if it's convenient later, please take care of Sister Xue a little bit. She has helped me a lot during this time. Yi Chen said to Zhao Hai, who was about to leave. Okay, no problem. Zhao Hai showed a look that every man would understand. Yi Chen was a little speechless. He thought Zhao Hai was a serious person, but he didn't expect that he was not very serious either. Let's go. Yi Chen turned and left. Back at the hotel, Yi Chen's bracelet started ringing. After coming here for so long, Yi Chen hasn't contacted his family yet. When he returns to the hotel after work every day, he is so tired that he falls asleep. Yi Qingyao was probably afraid of disturbing his brother, so he hadn't contacted Yi Chen these days. Yi Chen was surprised that that boy Chu Tian didn't harass Yi Chen. Yi Chen clicked on the video, and a light curtain was projected on the bracelet, and the display on it contacted Yan Sheng. Yi Chen didn't expect this. Yi Chen nodded and accepted, and the picture of Yan Sheng appeared in the light screen. Yi Chen, how have you been practicing lately? Yan Sheng asked straight to the point. It's okay, no big problem. Have you broken through to the 5th level of awakening? Yan Sheng felt that with Yi Chen's talent, even if he didn't have many resources, he should be able to break through to the 5th level of awakening. Yi Chen nodded and did not tell his specific level, mainly because Yan Sheng didn't ask. Yan Sheng breathed a sigh of relief when he saw Yi Chen nodding. Then you should come to the school in 2 days. I will register your college entrance examination information. The school may also encounter some troubles and you may need to come forward. Yan Sheng looked a little serious. Okay, I happen to be outside right now. I'll go back tomorrow. When I get back, I'll come directly to school. Yi Chen nodded. When Yi Chen saw that Yan Sheng didn't explain what was going on, he didn't ask further. He would find out when he returned to school. And when he heard that Yi Chen had awakened to the 5th level, Yan Sheng's expression became more relaxed, and Yi Chen felt that it shouldn't be a big problem. After all, he is now a warrior. Although he is only a little Karami, his vision is always higher than when he was in the awakening stage. After hanging up the phone, Yi Chen didn't call Yi Qingyao. He was going back tomorrow anyway, so it was just a surprise for her. Yi Chen was lying on the bed, holding the divine brewing gourd in his hand, and sipping the strength wine in small sips. Now Yi Chen has begun to get used to the pain caused by the energy drink. Yi Chen looked at the time and saw that it was only 6 o'clock. It's so early and I can't sleep. How about taking advantage of the last night to go to the wild for the last time? Yi Chen murmured. It's just a good time to try the Shadow's ability, and save some practice time for emergencies. Yi Chen stood up like a carp, and walked away. Chapter 42 Shadow Possession, Shadow Leopard. Now that Yi Chen has the bonus of Shadow, even if it is not revealed, his speed has been greatly improved. Yi Chen found a secluded place outside the city. After making sure there was no one else around, he summoned the Shadow and prepared to move forward at full speed. Yi Chen's figure instantly disappeared from the spot, quickly shuttling through the woods like a ghost. He felt the sound of wind passing by his ears, and his heart felt extremely happy. At this moment, he seemed to have become one with nature and became a part of this world. It didn't take long for Yi Chen to arrive outside the city, but he did not summon the Shadow immediately. It wasn't dark yet, and it was still too close to the city. With the lessons learned from the past, Yi Chen became more cautious in doing things. Since you have decided to make Shadow a second identity, you should not expose any clues from the beginning. Yi Chen looked at the route on the energy storage bracelet and chose a direction he had never been to before. Yi Chen seemed to be clearing up wasteland. After staying for a while, he found out almost all the places near the city. Yi Chen walked and killed all the way, always using the meteorite thunder. Almost all the beasts he encountered were warriors and below, which only gave Yi Chen 2 months of repair time. Finally, Yi Chen walked far enough and the sky became dark. The hunt has begun, and the Shadow is possessed. There was a strange smile on Yi Chen's lips. A black mist appeared around Yi Chen, wrapping Yi Chen. The black mist dissipated, and Yi Chen's figure was revealed. The black-robed ghost face, that half-mask, looks very ferocious. Although it is only half a picture, it gives people a chilling and gloomy feeling, and there is a horn on the forehead. His body seemed to be surrounded by a mysterious force, and the black mist was like a veil, gently covering him. The black fog dissipated, and his figure gradually emerged, like a ghost coming out of the darkness. His black robe is like a shadow in the night, blending into the surrounding darkness. His ghostly face seemed like an evil ghost coming out of hell, ferocious and terrifying. That half of the mask looked like the face of a demon. Although it was only half a mask, it gave people a chilling and gloomy feeling. There is also a horn on his forehead, like a devil's horn, shining with cold light, making people feel chilly. This horn seems to be his connection with the dark world and a symbol of his strength. Yi Chen felt that when he used shadow, his personality would be affected, and his whole aura would become colder. It felt like an invisible hand was gently plucking the strings deep in his heart, making a deep sound. Yi Chen couldn't tell what was different, he could only find out later. Yi Chen disappeared on the spot. If anyone could see it, they would find a darker shadow constantly moving on the ground. That shadow is Yi Chen. After a while, Yi Chen found his prey. This time, Yi Chen didn't take the initiative to jump out like when he killed the flaming wolf before. That time I wanted to verify my frontal combat ability, and this time I wanted to verify my assassination ability. And the strange beast in front of him was the best target. In the dark shadow, an eye flashed past. Not far away, a black cat-like creature was crawling on the tree, moving forward bit by bit. Its dark eyes stared intently at the white smoke bird. I saw the black cat rushing forward violently, and I couldn't see its movements clearly. I could only vaguely see the afterimage. When its figure appeared again, it had a white smoke bird in its mouth. The strange beast Yi Chen found was not a black cat, but a shadow leopard. Although it did not have the size of a leopard, it was faster. Shadow leopards do not appear during the day. They are home at night. They come out to look for food at night and are the top predators at night. And why the night in the wild is much more dangerous than the day, the role of the shadow leopard cannot be underestimated. The shadow leopard was feasting, and Yi Chen's figure melting into the darkness kept approaching it. Just when Yi Chen was about 10 meters away from the shadow leopard, the shadow leopard suddenly stopped eating, and I stared at the direction of Yi Chen's shadow. Yi Chen was also surprised. He was sure that his movements after blending into the shadow made absolutely no sound. Yi Chen was also confused about how the shadow leopard discovered him, or did he not discover him at all? Yi Chen was a little suspicious, then he changed the direction and approached the shadow leopard. At the same distance of 10 meters, the shadow leopard looked at Yi Chen again. Now Yi Chen was sure that even if he merged into the darkness, the shadow leopard could still sense him. It seems that the ability to blend into darkness is not omnipotent. Yi Chen sighed with emotion. What Yi Chen didn't know was that the reason why the shadow leopards could sense Yi Chen's direction actually relied on their instinct as predators. In fact, the shadow leopard didn't see Yi Chen at all. If he had seen him, he would have taken action and wouldn't just look this way. They rely on a sense similar to the sixth sense, just like when someone is looking at you from behind, you will feel something. It's just that the shadow leopard's ability is much stronger than that of humans. Yi Chen changed direction again, and moved behind the shadow leopard. This time he didn't get closer than 10 meters to it, and stopped when he was almost 10 meters away. Yi Chen's figure slowly emerged from the ground, holding a dagger in both hands. This dagger was not purchased by Yi Chen, but condensed by Yi Chen using shadow. When Yi Chen broke through to the warrior level, he discovered that he could condense his supernatural powers into shape. However, it cannot condense large objects. It is still possible to condense daggers. The strength is not as strong as C-grade alloy, but it is enough. Yi Chen made a gesture to charge up his energy, and rushed forward like a hungry tiger pouncing on food, and cut the shadow leopard's neck with the dagger. In fact, the moment Yi Chen stepped into the 10-meter range, the shadow leopard felt it and turned around immediately. Although his reaction was already very fast, Yi Chen's charged attack was faster. In just the blink of an eye, Yi Chen's attack landed on him. But the shadow leopard is worthy of being the king of the night. Even so, he still made a final struggle, twisting his neck, trying to avoid this fatal blow. Yi Chen's figure flashed past and appeared on the other side. The shadow leopard slowly turned around, and when it turned around, a tiny trace of blood appeared on its neck. It thought it had escaped the blow, and immediately prepared to attack Yi Chen. I saw that when it was preparing to attack, the trace of blood on his neck gradually spread. His head fell directly to the ground, and he did not realize how he died until he died. The dagger in Yi Chen's hand dispersed and he slowly walked towards the body of the shadow leopard. He saw that the incision on the neck was very smooth and there was no gap at all. It seems that the dagger I condensed with the shadow is still very sharp. Yi Chen smiled with satisfaction. In fact, when the shadow leopard twisted its neck to dodge the blow, it looked to the naked eye as if it had dodged it, but in fact it did not. Since the dagger was made by Yi Chen using shadows, it means that the shape and length of the dagger can be changed. The moment the dagger approached the shadow leopard's neck, Yi Chen lengthened the dagger. Just like the light of a sword, it directly chopped off its head. If this move is used well, it is enough to catch the opponent off guard. Ding! Successfully killed the shadow leopard, obtained 3,000 power points, and took 8 months to practice. The system's long-lost sound sounded, and Yi Chen felt that the system's notification sound was the most beautiful sound in the world. The generous reward for killing the shadow leopard also proves that this shadow leopard is not weak in strength and is comparable to the previous masked man. When Yi Chen hit the masked man before, the masked man was seriously injured. Yi Chen tried his best to kill him, but now when faced with the shadow leopard who was comparable to him, he could already kill him instantly. Yi Chen became even more excited after hearing the system prompt. He put away the body of the shadow leopard and then merged into the darkness again to look for the next prey. Chapter 43 Lightning Ape, Thunder Fire Lizard. The next opponents he encountered were not as strong as the shadow leopard, and Yi Chen could kill them all with one hit. What is the most important thing about an assassin? It is concealment and killing with one strike, just like a ghost in the dark night, taking people's lives silently. If Yi Chen wants to truly transform Shadow into a king of assassins, just relying on Shadow's ability is far from enough. At least he hasn't developed any particularly strong combat skills yet, and his speed is only 7 steps. But after the 7-star steps, it is impossible for him to use Shadow. The 7-star step is mainly a step-type combat skill with outstanding dodge ability, but it is not that strong in improving speed and explosive power. I have to find another explosive speed combat technique. Yi Chen thought to himself. But these are all things after the college entrance examination. I will look for it after the college entrance examination. Now I have to practice the tuba first. Yi Chen kept walking through the forest, blending into the darkness, making Yi Chen feel a comfortable feeling. That kind of control over the darkness made Yi Chen want to stop. By the middle of the night, Yi Chen had hunted many strange beasts, and his training time had reached a terrifying 2.5 years. In just the middle of the night, Yi Chen gained so much practice time. At this time, Yi Chen was standing on the top of the tallest tree, looking into the distance, as if he was sensing something. The shadow gave Yi Chen not only the ability to blend into the darkness, but also gave Yi Chen the ability to see at night. Moreover, in the dark, Yi Chen's perception ability is greatly enhanced. Just like a hunter in the dark, he can easily detect the presence of his prey. Yi Chen was seen looking into the distance, and he felt that there seemed to be something in that direction. The next second, Yi Chen disappeared from the top of the tree and fled in that direction. Yi Chen moved forward based on his perception, and soon arrived at the target location. I saw a huge red lizard roaring, and opposite it was an ape with blue lightning all over its body. Why did I encounter 2 strange beasts fighting again, the thunder lizard and the lightning ape? Yi Chen complained. But in the next second, Yi Chen knew why the 2 beasts were fighting. Behind the fire lizard was a dead tree that was broken by lightning. The half of the wood was completely black, with a deep crack in the middle, and it looked lifeless. But the strange thing is that there is something like a Ganoderma lucidum on the half of the dead wood. On the contrary, the Ganoderma lucidum was full of life, with thunder and lightning flashing from time to time. Lei Lingji. Yi Chen's pupils narrowed. Ever since Yi Chen found a Konoha flower last time, he had carefully read the catalogue of heavenly materials and earthly treasures when he went back. He didn't want to miss it without recognizing it when he encountered it. Yi Chen's memory of Thunder Lingji is very profound, because it is one of the few thunder-attributed treasures. It will only grow on peach trees that have been struck by lightning. It is not easy to meet this condition, let alone the thunder Ganoderma growing on it. At this time, Yi Chen's eyes were all attracted to Lei Lingji, as long as he took Lei Lingji. His cultivation level will probably reach the peak of a martial artist, or even break through to the level of a martial artist. But this is not the most important thing. What is important is that Lei Lingji also contains extremely pure vitality, the vitality from thunder and lightning, the vitality in destruction. The greatest effect of Lei Lingji is to improve the physical body. It not only has the effect of healing wounds, but also greatly improves the strength of the physical body. In addition, the attributes of Yi Chen and Lei Lingji are consistent, and having Lei Lingji is equivalent to having a second life. If he loses to his opponent in a battle, Lei Lingji will be Yi Chen's support for his comeback. I must get this Thunder Lingji, but these two strange beasts are both at the peak level of martial arts masters, and I am only a junior martial artist, so I can only look for opportunities. Yi Chen's eyes that melted into the darkness kept flashing, which all showed that Yi Chen was not at peace at the moment. The lightning ape was the first to attack, holding a mace-like object in his hand, with thunder and lightning flashing from time to time, and smashed it at the thunder salamander's head. The thunder salamander is not simple either. It opens its bloody mouth and spits out hot flames. Yi Chen quickly retreated. The fight between the two alien beasts was very brilliant, mainly due to their ability to glow. Yi Chen had to find a place to hide. If he was photographed, he would be exposed. After a while, the sound of fighting gradually subsided, and Yi Chen went back again. The lightning ape's chest was scorched black, and it must have been hit by the fire lizard's flames. The lightning ape actually only has some thunder and lightning attributes. He can only attach thunder and lightning to his weapons to strengthen his attack. It does not have the speed of thunder and lightning, and its destructive power is far inferior to Yi Chen's heavenly meteor god Thunder. On the other hand, the Thunder Fire Lizard has dual attributes of thunder and fire, and the combined power of thunder and fire bursts is even stronger, so the lightning ape is certainly no match. He saw the lightning ape holding his chest and retreating. Yi Chen thought it was going to leave, but it didn't do that. The lightning ape suddenly made several strange calls, and soon there were some sounds in the distance, as if it was responding to something. The thunder salamander continued to attack. At this time, the lightning ape did not choose to confront the enemy head-on, but instead continued to dodge. Not long after, figures flashing with thunder and lightning appeared on the surrounding trees, all of them lightning apes. It turns out that they were gathering their companions just now, and the one who faced off against the thunder salamander should be their leader. I saw a smaller ape holding a jar in his hand and handing it to the injured lightning ape. The lightning ape grabbed it and drank a few mouthfuls. The wound on its chest began to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. After a while, he returned to normal, and his aura became much stronger. Is it monkey wine? Such a strong healing effect. Yi Chen was a little confused. After the lightning ape recovered from his injury, he raised the stick and roared several times. I saw the lightning apes on the surrounding trees also making chirping sounds, and they all rushed towards the thunder salamander. The thunder salamander keeps spitting out flames, and lightning flashes on its tail, constantly knocking away the lightning ape that approaches it. The lightning apes that were hit were all bruised and dead. It's all practice time. Yi Chen looked at the corpses and said distressedly. If these lightning apes can be hit by it, I don't know how much training time will be gained. But Yi Chen didn't dare to mix in and do something dirty. If he wasn't careful, he would be discovered. The most important thing now was the Thunder Ganoderma, so don't let the small gain lead to the big loss. But Yi Chen still felt distressed. The leader of the lightning ape saw his men dying continuously, without any fluctuation in his eyes. Some are just indifferent, as if the dead apes are just his disposable pawns. And he himself is a superior chess player, watching everything on the chessboard indifferently. This is the law of the jungle in nature. Under constant consumption, the thunder fire lizard began to lose its strength, and its offensive gradually weakened. The will battle was still too taxing on him. At this time, the leader of the lightning ape moved, and he kept waving the stick in his hand and hitting the thunder lizard. The thunder salamander was beaten back and forth, and injuries gradually appeared on its body. Chapter 44 Kill them all and get Lei Lingji. The disadvantage of the thunder salamander is that it is not a social creature, unlike the lightning ape, which has a bunch of younger brothers. In terms of one-on-one strength, the lightning ape is invincible to the thunder salamander, but after beating the old master to death with random punches, the thunder salamander couldn't withstand it after all. Even though the thunder salamander's injuries were getting more and more serious, Yichen kept holding back and did not take action. This was not the best time yet. The lightning ape is in pretty good shape. Even if he appears and kills the thunder salamander at this time, he will probably be killed by the lightning ape. Finally, the lightning ape launched his strongest attack, and his mace exploded with lightning. It clenched its hands tightly and slammed towards the thunder salamander. At this time, a flash of determination flashed in the eyes of the thunder fire lizard. It opened its mouth and spit out a spiritual core, and then continuously injected source energy into it. I saw that all the source energy was absorbed by the spiritual core, and then a pillar of thunder and fire from the bucket was blasted towards the lightning ape. This is the last blow of the thunder salamander, and this blow has reached the level of a military commander. However, after this blow, the thunder salamander may no longer be able to attack within a few days. In this forest, you have no ability to attack, just like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered, no different from death. I saw the lightning ape being hit by the pillar of thunder and fire, and was smashed away like a piece of rag. I don't know how many trees were broken before it stopped. After a while, the lightning ape was covered in blood and walked toward the thunder fire lizard step by step with a ferocious face. At this moment, Thunder Salamander's eyes were full of despair, and he had no ability to fight back. It didn't expect that its fatal blow would not kill the lightning ape. The lightning ape suddenly spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. It was obvious that the blow had seriously injured him. He quickly picked up the unfinished jar of monkey wine and prepared to drink it. At this moment, Yichen moved, and a dark figure appeared behind the lightning ape. It was Yichen. Yichen suddenly drew out his knife and hit the lightning ape's neck hard, but the decapitation that Yichen imagined did not appear. The dagger cut into part of the neck and got stuck, making Yichen unable to cut in. The lightning ape was in pain and swiped backwards with its big palm-like hand. Yichen secretly thought something was wrong. He couldn't avoid it, so he took the slap and was sent flying. I saw Yichen half kneeling on the ground, covering his chest. 2 ribs are broken. I didn't expect it to be like this. He can still launch such a powerful attack, but he was underestimated. After all, Yichen underestimated the strength of the peak martial arts beasts, and also forgot that he had just broken through the martial arts. The leapfrog killing of enemies along the way made Yichen somewhat ignore the level gap. Yichen stood up. If that's the case, then let's fight, and saw the daggers in Yichen's hands disappear. What appeared in his hand again was the spear named Ben Lei. Yichen did not cancel the state of shadow possession. It was a bit far away from the city, and it was still night, so there should be no people. Unless it is for some special materials, most hunters will not choose to go out of the city at night. Yichen endured the injury and directly used the 7-star step of Desheng. The 7-star step was greatly improved with the addition of the shadow. Originally, when performing the 7-star step, a star map of the Big Dipper would appear on the soles of Yichen's feet. When used while possessed by a shadow, the star map was dyed a strange black color, giving it a strange aura. Lightning Ape still wanted to continue drinking monkey wine, but how could Yichen give him this chance? Yichen suddenly appeared in front of it and suddenly hit the arm that held up the jar. Lightning Ape is not good at speed, he can't react at all. I saw a purple spear light appearing on the tip of the thunder spear, and one shot directly cut off the Lightning Ape's arm, and the Lightning Ape let out a shrill scream. Upon seeing this, some of the surviving Lightning Apes around them rushed towards Yichen. Yichen's figure merged into the darkness and disappeared again, and those Lightning Apes jumped into the air. The eyes of the Lightning Ape with a broken arm were full of fear. He kept making strange noises and looking around. His men surrounded him and protected him. This is not enough. Yi Chen's voice came from its head. Thunder Dragon breaks the sky. Yi Chen shouted softly. The thunder patterns on Ben Lei suddenly became brighter, and the gun light emitted from the tip of the gun became longer. Ben Lei let out a joyful gunshot, the Thunder Dragon appeared, and the Lightning Ape's head exploded like a watermelon. Ding, successfully killed the Lightning Ape leader, gained 6,000 power points, and 2 years of training time. The system's voice sounded in Yi Chen's mind. Once the leader died, all that were left were defeated soldiers. Yi Chen killed them all without much effort. Yi Chen looked at the Thunder Fire Lizard. There was a pleading look in the Thunder Fire Lizard's eyes, wanting Yi Chen to let him live. The weak prey on the strong. If you want to blame it, blame this world. Yi Chen sighed and pierced the Thunder Fire Lizard's body without hesitation. Yi Chen would not feel sympathy at this time. Alien beasts were alien beasts, not pets. This is a race war. From another perspective, if Yi Chen begs for mercy, will this Thunder Lizard let him go? The answer is unknown, but Yi Chen believes it won't be, just like he won't let it go. Ding, successfully killed the Thunder Fire Lizard, obtained 8,000 power points, 2.5 years of training, and 1 Thunder Fire Crystal. Huh? Has it been shipped? Yi Chen turned his hand, and a fist-sized crystal appeared in his hand. Yi Chen felt that there was powerful energy inside, as well as the aura of destruction. Yi Chen didn't know what this thing was, so he checked it later and put it away. Yi Chen's eyes fell on the Thunder Ganoderma, and with a wave of his hand, he put it into his bracelet along with the half of the Lightning Strike Wood. This Lightning Strike Wood is also a rare treasure and is a material for refining some potions. Yi Chen looked around. There were corpses everywhere, and Yi Chen collected them all. Yi Chen's bracelet has a large space, about 100 cubic meters, but these corpses are almost filling the space of the bracelet. It is enough to see that the Thunder Salamander is so powerful that it killed so many ordinary lightning apes, and in the end it was able to launch such a powerful attack that seriously injured the leader of the lightning apes. Finally, Yi Chen's eyes fell on the half jar of monkey wine. The wine inside was a strange blue color, with blue thunder arcs flashing from time to time. Yi Chen directly picked it up and took a sip. A numbing sensation burst out in Yi Chen's mouth. It's great. The ribs seem to be repairing. It's such a strong effect. Yi Chen did not continue to drink, but put it into his bracelet. The space of the bracelet was a separate and still space, and the preservation effect was very good. Therefore, Yi Chen is not worried about the loss of energy from Lei Ganoderma and monkey wine. That mouthful of monkey wine allowed Yi Chen to recover a lot of the source energy he had consumed before, and there was no major problem with his ribs. This powerful effect moved Yi Chen's heart. There must be more than one tribe in a clan, why don't we go look for it? Yi Chen licked his lips, feeling a little moved. Chapter 45 Monkey Wine. When Yi Chen was in the dark before, he noticed that when the leader of the Lightning Ape summoned his men, most of the Lightning Apes came from the east. That direction was most likely to be the home of the Lightning Ape. Yi Chen melted into the darkness again and fled to the east. It didn't take long for Yi Chen to find the Lightning Ape's lair. Most of the remaining monkeys are thin and small, and there are some small monkeys, all of which are old, weak, sick and disabled. Yi Chen searched for a while, but couldn't find the monkey wine. Where is it hidden? I feel like there is no place to hide the wine around here. It would be troublesome if it were buried underground. Yi Chen frowned. There is no way to continue searching like this. Why not let them take me to find it? Yi Chen swaggered directly into the group of apes. A group of lightning apes suddenly panicked and they saw Yi Chen's sudden appearance. Several monkeys saw that Yi Chen was just a person, and they directly attacked Yi Chen. Yi Chen suddenly stamped his feet on the ground, and suddenly powerful air waves mixed with thunder and lightning scattered in all directions, and the lightning apes were directly shocked to death. When the surrounding lightning apes saw this scene, they were immediately frightened and fled in all directions, making chirping sounds. Yi Chen glanced around and picked out a lightning ape that looked a bit old. The next second, Yi Chen appeared in front of it. Yi Chen grabbed its neck and lifted it up easily. The lightning ape kept making harsh and rapid sounds from its mouth. Yi Chen gradually increased the strength of his hand, and the cry of the lightning ape gradually became quieter. It either stopped screaming or couldn't scream anymore. It looked at Yi Chen with pleading eyes, but Yi Chen ignored him. It wasn't until it started to roll its eyes that Yi Chen let go. The lightning ape fell to the ground and kept panting, but it didn't dare to run away at all. He knew that if he ran at this time, he would definitely die. Yi Chen said indifferently, "Take me to find monkey wine." The lightning ape heard Yi Chen's voice and had a blank look in its eyes, not knowing what Yi Chen said. Yi Chen was ashamed and wanted to pretend that he didn't understand. Yi Chen took out the half jar of monkey wine from the storage bracelet, and then pointed at the wine inside. The lightning ape reacted, but his movements were awkward and he didn't want to take Yi Chen with him. Yi Chen circulated his source energy, and purple lightning kept coming out of his hand. Upon seeing this, the lightning monkey quickly pointed in one direction, making a chirping sound with a flattering tone, and looked at Yi Chen with fear in his eyes. Bloody bones. Yi Chen cursed lightly. Then he followed him to a stone wall. Yi Chen had looked here before, but found nothing. Yi Chen glanced at the lightning ape, and the lightning ape quickly pointed to the side. Yi Chen looked where it pointed, and saw a clump of grass. Yi Chen was a little confused, thinking that the lightning ape was playing tricks on him, so he wanted to take action. The lightning ape had already walked over, pushed aside the grass, revealed a hole more than 1 meter high, and then got in. So it's here. No wonder I didn't find it before. It's really hidden. Yi Chen sighed lightly. Yi Chen bent down and followed in. After entering, Yi Chen discovered that this was actually a place where the stone wall had been hollowed out, and there were still traces of chiseling on the wall. There is about 60 square meters inside. Although it is not big, it is already very good to be able to create such a space inside the hard stone wall by relying solely on strength. After Yi Chen came in, the lightning ape stood respectfully behind Yi Chen. Yi Chen glanced around and found several jars in the corner, which should be the brewed monkey wine. Yi Chen went over and put them all into the bracelet. Yi Chen counted them, and there were 9 jars in total. Yi Chen smiled. These 9 altars were worth at least tens of millions, but Yi Chen would definitely not sell them, and they wouldn't even be enough for his own use. I didn't expect that I would gain something like this when I went out at night for the first time. Is this the novice protection period? Yi Chen also relaxed at this moment and said. The lightning ape scratched its head and ears anxiously when it saw Yi Chen taking away all the monkey wine. However, it didn't dare to make a sound, for fear that Yi Chen would make another move. Yi Chen continued to search to see if there were any other good things. There are several glowing stones embedded in the top of this cave, so it's not dark inside. Yi Chen did not take away those stones because they were not valuable and were just ordinary fluorescent ores. Yi Chen noticed that there was actually a smaller cave in this cave, only about 4 or 5 cubic meters in size, with a wine tank inside. Yi Chen took a look at the wine vat and found that there were a lot of fruits and some flowers and plants in it. Yi Chen only knew a few of them, so they probably hadn't brewed the wine yet, but they had already begun to smell like wine. The leader of the lightning ape went to grab the Thunder Ganoderma lucidum, maybe just to use it to make wine. Yi Chen didn't take away the semi-finished product, even though he had the skill to brew the gourd. But he doesn't know how to make wine, so why not just leave it here? Maybe there will be a chance to harvest it again in the future. Although Yi Chen only knew a few of the things in this wine vat. But they are all medicinal materials of good value, but they do not reach the level of heavenly materials and earthly treasures. The so-called heavenly materials and earthly treasures only refer to them in general, but only those that are more than 100 years old can be called heavenly materials and earthly treasures. And nothing in this wine vat is 100 years old. But the monkey wine brewed has an effect comparable to the treasures of heaven and earth. I have to say that Lightning Ape is truly gifted in brewing wine. Yi Chen marked this place on the bracelet map, but did not kill the Lightning Ape leading the way. Save some seeds so that the Lightning Ape can make wine for himself, right? Yi Chen is not afraid of not eradicating the roots. He believes that even if a strong person emerges from this group, he will definitely be able to defeat him. What Yi Chen has is a system. If he can still be successfully revenged with the system, then Yi Chen will be a real waste. After that, Yi Chen didn't find anything else of value in the cave, and then disappeared directly into the darkness. The lightning ape leading the way looked around when Yi Chen disappeared, but did not dare to leave. He was afraid that Yi Chen was watching him from a place where he couldn't see him, and he would rush out as soon as he moved Yi Chen. Then it stood there until dawn, only then did it confirm that Yi Chen had really left, and then walked out of the cave. But its current expression is very sad at first glance. Even if he is an ape, you can see his sadness. How could I not feel sad when someone took away the monkey wine that my tribe had been brewing for decades? And now, almost all the young members of the Lightning Ape group have been killed by Yi Chen. The only ones left were the old, weak, sick and disabled, as well as some young monkeys. Now all it can hope for is that one of these little monkeys will be talented. Otherwise, their group might simply disappear in this forest. Chapter 46: A Great Harvest. Before returning to school. After leaving the cave, Yi Chen did not hunt any more strange beasts, but returned directly according to the bracelet route. The main reason was that it was almost dawn. Yi Chen also basically understood the Shadow's ability, his goal was achieved, and there was a big harvest. The original plan was to go back directly after Zhao Hai delivered the necklace. It seemed that he had to go to the Chu Chamber of Commerce again. Yi Chen's bracelet still contained a bunch of exotic beast materials, although most of them were lightning apes killed by the thunder salamander. But the thing was finally collected by Yi Chen. When Yi Chen returned to the city, he happened to see the sunrise. Yi Chen jumped up to the top of the tree and couldn't bear to miss this last beautiful view. The gentle breeze brought a hint of coolness in the morning. The clouds in the sky were rimmed with gold by the rising sun, and the warm sunshine shone on the masonry of the city wall. Yi Chen knew that he might not come back soon, and would leave the city where he had lived for 18 years. The road ahead may be full of unknowns, but the tranquility and peace of this moment gave him endless courage. Yi Chen didn't return to the city until the sun rose completely. Yi Chen did not go directly to the Chu Chamber of Commerce, but returned to the hotel. It wasn't that he wanted to pack things, he didn't have much to pack, he just wanted to go back and take a shower. Otherwise, when Yi Qingmiao goes home wearing these tattered clothes, Yi Qingmiao might think that Yi Chen has gone there to seek revenge. After taking a shower, Yi Chen changed into a white shirt and a pair of black trousers, which looked very refreshing. It's just that I feel a little out of place in this station. It doesn't look like a person who has lived here for more than half a month, but like a young man who came to play. System: open the panel. Host: Yi Chen. Realm: Warrior Level 2. Powers: Meteor Divine Thunder, S Level, Divine Brewing Gourd, S Level, Shadow, S Level. Kung Fu: 9 Nether Thunder Ju, S Level. Combat Skills: Thunder Dragon Breaking Sky Strike, Small Success, 7 Star Steps, High Success, Instant Shadow, High Success. Power Points: 50,000. Training Time: 7 years and 5 months. I actually have more than 7 years of training time. If I use all of it to level up, I'm afraid I can directly reach the rank of military commander. Yi Chen said with some surprise. Because of the chaos in the scene before, Yi Chen didn't know how much practice time he had gained. I only heard the system prompts ringing continuously in my mind. Yi Chen's original plan was to gain 2 years of training time in case of emergencies, but unexpectedly it tripled. But Yi Chen didn't use it directly to improve his level. Yi Chen had been practicing for less than a month now. Feng Lian only gave him combat skills and exercises, but did not teach him any martial arts knowledge. And the high school Yi Chen attended was not a top school either. His class teacher Yan Sheng is only a martial arts master and can teach ordinary students just fine. Teaching Yi Chen would be a bit difficult for him, so Yi Chen's martial arts knowledge is very lacking. I was almost groping by myself, relying on the system to reach the second level of warrior. So Yi Chen planned to carefully plan his martial arts route after returning, mainly asking Feng Lian. Yi Chen wants to walk the road to martial arts step by step, but don't use your training time arbitrarily, which will cause your state to become empty by then. And Yi Chen doesn't need to explore the path of cultivation on his own. The seniors have already paved the way, so don't make unnecessary efforts to avoid accidents. Moreover, there won't be much time before the college entrance examination after returning home. After the college entrance examination, Yi Chen should go directly to the Magic City. By then the practice should become more clear. After thinking carefully, Yi Chen closed the panel, checked out of the room and went directly to the Chu Chamber of Commerce. Some people on the road looked at Yi Chen with strange looks, including contempt, greed, and curiosity. Just like when Yi Chen came here for the first time, I awakened to the second level when I came here, and now I am a warrior to the second level, which is not bad. Yi Chen didn't pay attention to the looks around him, since he was leaving today anyway. Yi Chen soon arrived at the Chu Chamber of Commerce, and Xue Xiaofan received him. However, Xue Xiaofan's heart fluctuated as he saw Yi Chen tidy up and become as graceful as a tree facing the wind. "Sister Xue, I'm looking for Uncle Zhao, you don't have to worry about me," Yi Chen said with a smile. Xue Xiaofan nodded and said nothing. Yi Chen went directly to Zhao Hai's office. Zhao Hai had just come to work and happened to meet him on the stairs. The two went into the office together. "The necklace has been made. I said I would send it to you. Why did you come by yourself?" Zhao Hai thought Yi Chen was here to get the necklace. "Looking at how you are dressed, you are planning to go back today." Zhao Hai looked at Yi Chen. "No need to bother, just give me the necklace. I've already checked out the hotel. I'll just come to Uncle Zhao and go back." Yi Chen nodded. "But I'm here today not just for the necklace." Yi Chen showed a mysterious expression. Zhao Hai also became interested when he saw this. "Oh? Do you have any other gifts for me?" Yi Chen looked at the space in the office and said with a smile, "How about Uncle Zhao find a bigger place for me? I'm afraid it won't fit in this office." "It's true. Come on, kid, let's go to the warehouse below." The two of them went directly to an empty warehouse of the Chu Chamber of Commerce. "This place is big enough. I want to see what you guys give me. It can't even fit in the office." Yi Chen said nothing. With a wave of his hand, a large number of corpses of strange beasts appeared in front of the two of them. Zhao Hai's eyes widened and he stuttered a bit when he spoke. This is the big thing you are talking about, it is indeed quite big." "Uncle Zhao, how do I feel about this thing?" Yi Chen said proudly. Okay, it's really a big thing." "No, where did you get so many strange beast corpses? You didn't go out of the city last night, did you?" Only then did Zhao Hai react. Yi Chen scratched his head in embarrassment and said shyly, "I was thinking about the last day. I haven't gone out of the city at night, so I went for a trip." "You just went there and got so many things?" Zhao Hai's voice increased a bit. "It was a fluke. I was lucky. I encountered a group of lightning apes fighting with a thunder lizard, and I took advantage of it," Yi Chen said modestly. Zhao Hai was a little speechless. He seemed to be lucky enough to see so many exotic beast materials, and he also wanted to take advantage of them. The main reason is that Yi Chen has picked up such bargains several times, but it is so easy to pick up bargains. Picking it up once can still be called good luck, but Yi Chen has picked it up several times, so he is not always lucky every time. Originally, Zhao Hai wanted to say a few words to Yi Chen, but he thought about it carefully. Yi Chen's current strength may not be simple, and his worries may be unnecessary, so he didn't say anything. In fact, there was a loophole in what Yi Chen said. How could the lightning monkey and the thunder salamander start a war for no reason? The two were not at the top of the food chain. There must be something that caused the fight. Zhao Hai actually thought about it, but he didn't ask further. Everyone has their own secrets. If Yi Chen is displeased, he will have to pay for it. The strength Yi Chen has shown now is worthy of his direct challenge. Chapter 47 Going Home. What do you plan to do with these things? Zhao Hai asked in a soliciting tone. Uncle Zhao decides, I will leave these things to Uncle Zhao and I will be responsible for collecting the money, ha 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 ha. Yi Chen joked. Okay, I'll have someone come back to appraise and divide it, but it may be a little slower. Don't worry, you won't be short of money. Zhao Hai also said with a smile. No problem, I can rest assured that Uncle Zhao will do things. Okay, they just sent me the necklace, let's go get it. Zhao Hai patted Yi Chen on the shoulder and said. Okay. After a while, the necklace was placed in front of Yi Chen. The emerald green calming stone was like a spring bud. Exuding a vibrant atmosphere, the design style of the necklace is modern, simple yet elegant. How is it? Are you satisfied? Yes, Uncle Zhao's work is really reassuring, I'm very satisfied. Uncle Zhao will deduct the necklace processing fee directly from my material fee. Yi Chen put the box into his bracelet. Yeah, I forgot that you are a rich man now, so I will get more. Zhao Hai joked. Okay, feel free to deduct it. Yi Chen said cheerfully. Yi Chen knew that Zhao Hai was just joking, how could he really deduct the money for materials from him? Now that I have got the necklace, I will leave. My sister will probably be very happy. Thank you to Uncle Zhao for taking care of her during this period. Yi Chen stood up and gave a fist cup salute. Ha ha ha, okay, then go back and be careful on the road. Uncle Zhao is waiting for your champion wine. Zhao Hai said cheerfully. Okay, I'll lend you Uncle Zhao's auspicious words. Yi Chen said goodbye to Zhao Hai and went downstairs, where he happened to meet Xue Xiaofan. Their eyes met, and both of them were stunned for a moment. Yi Chen was the first to speak. Sister Xue, I'm going back. I happened to run into you, so let's say goodbye. I also told Uncle Zhao to take care of you more. If you encounter anything in the future, just go to him, don't feel embarrassed. Yi Chen smiled and said, if Uncle Zhao can't solve it, you can come to me, but I may not be able to do it. Xue Xiaofan also relaxed a little after hearing Yi Chen's words. She was a little nervous at first, not knowing what to say, but seeing Yi Chen being so generous and calm, it didn't matter. Okay, I won't be polite. Just don't think it's troublesome for me then. Xue Xiaofan also joked. How come? I will definitely help Sister Xue if she needs anything. Then I wish you good luck in martial arts. I also wish Sister Xue success in her work and safety. In this world, living is the best blessing. After saying goodbye to Xue Xiaofan, Yi Chen was a little excited and was finally going back. This was the first time in more than 10 years that he had been separated from his sister for so long. This little girl didn't even take the initiative to contact him, which made Yi Chen a little unhappy. But it was just words. He knew that Yi Qingyao was afraid of disturbing him and causing trouble to him. The two grew up together, and Yi Qingyao is also very sensible. It's just that sometimes Yi Chen still hopes that Yi Qingyao is not so sensible and can show off his temper, ask for things from him, and live a happier life. And now he can make her live a better life, and he will no longer be the poor boy he was before. Soon Yi Chen got in the car and took about 4 or 5 hours to get home. It was already past 3 o'clock when he got home. Yi Chen quietly opened the door. As soon as he entered, he saw Yi Qingyao lying on the sofa in the living room, looking at her mobile phone, and there were a bunch of snacks on the table. It seemed that Xiao Nizi was doing well, but she was too careless and didn't react even after she came in. Ahem. Yi Chen deliberately walked behind Yi Qingyao and coughed twice. Ah. Yi Qingyao was so frightened that she jumped up. After taking a closer look, he realized it was Yi Chen. Brother. You're back. Then he pounced directly on Yi Chen. Oh, I've only been away for a few days, and you've gained a lot of weight. It seems like you're living a good life. Yi Chen caught Yi Qingyao and weighed her. No way, I'm not fat. Yi Qingyao pushed Yi Chen away, jumped down, put her hands on her hips and looked away. Okay, not fat, not fat. Yi Chen reached out and scratched her little nose. Yi Chen was still very happy to see that Yi Qingyao was much more cheerful now. Moreover, Yi Qingyao's complexion is much rosier, not as pale as before, and he has finally put on some fat, and is not as thin as before. Yi Qingyao was not an unreasonable person, so she immediately hugged Yi Chen's arm and said, Brother, tell me if it's dangerous for you to go this time. Okay, let's sit down and say, I haven't eaten yet, please give me something delicious. Okay, let me tell you, I have learned a lot about ordering takeout now, and I will give you the best food I have ever eaten. When it came to ordering takeout, Yi Qingyao suddenly became excited. It seems that Yi Qingyao has been ordering takeout a lot during this period. Yi Chen shook his head helplessly. You don't have enough money, I won't transfer it to you. That's enough. You gave me 100,000 yuan before. You really think your sister is a pig? She ate 100,000 yuan in just 10 days. Yi Qingyao is like a kitten with fried hair. Ha ha ha, I think it's almost done. I'm giving you 100,000. You can spend it. Don't save. You can buy whatever you want. Your brother, I have money now. Yi Chen raised his head and said proudly. Yi Chen knew that although Yi Qingyao now likes to order takeout, she is still very frugal. How much does it cost to order takeout? Yi Chen wants Yi Qingyao to live a better life. Wow, is it true? How much money do you have now? Yi Qingyao's eyes were shining with little stars, looking like a money-obsessed person. Don't ask, just ask if I have money, I can raise this little pig like you casually. Yi Chen didn't answer. Humph. If you don't say it, don't say it. I won't order it for you. Hey, okay, I also said I would give you the gift. Since you don't want it, forget it. Yi Chen said with a deliberate sigh. Hey, I'll give you some right away, and give me a gift as well. Yi Qingyao said playfully. After a while, the takeout was delivered, and Yi Qingyao ordered a lot for Yi Chen, raising Yi Chen like a pig. Brother, where is my gift? Seeing Yi Chen enjoying his meal, Yi Qingyao was afraid that Yi Chen would forget it. Here you go. Yi Chen's energy storage bracelet flashed, and a box appeared in his hand. Yi Qingyao took it and immediately opened the box. Wow, what a beautiful necklace. Brother, you are so kind. I'm so glad you didn't give me a call. You haven't contacted me for so many days. I thought you didn't remember me as your brother. Yi Chen deliberately looked unhappy. Oh, I'm not afraid of disturbing my brother. I miss him too. Yi Qingyao said coquettishly. Chapter 48 Warm Daily Life. What Yi Chen didn't know was that Yi Qingyao had been preparing to call Yi Chen several times. But she knew that Yi Chen went to the wild, and if something happened to her phone, she would never forgive herself in her life. So after entering Yi Chen's number, she deleted them all again several times. I'll put it on for you. Yi Chen took out the necklace, gently pushed aside Yi Qingyao's long hair, and then put it on her. My sister is so beautiful. Yi Qingyao's snow-white swan neck was embellished with a necklace, which made Yi Qingyao even more elegant. Although Yi Qingyao is only 12 years old, it can already be seen that she is a beauty. When Yi Qingyao heard Yi Chen's praise, she became even more happy. Like a deer, she jumped up and down to look in the mirror. Yi Chen smiled and shook his head, then immersed himself in eating. It was not that there was no delicious food in the station. Yi Chen has been extremely busy, working at 3 a.m. every day, except for the last time he went to Qishan Pavilion for a good meal. Although the ones I eat now are not as nutritious as Qishan Pavilion, they are not bad. At least they are satisfying. After a while, Yi Qingyao came out and said to Yi Chen, Brother, does this necklace have a name? I feel a lot better after wearing it. No, why don't we get one? Yi Chen touched his chin and thought. In fact, this necklace has a name, but Zhao Hai forgot to tell Yi Chen, and Yi Chen also forgot to ask, took the necklace and left. But it doesn't matter anymore, it makes more sense to go one yourself. How about calling me Mengen? Yi Chen thought for a while and said. Since Yi Qingyao got sick, although she has been sleeping every day, she has never had a good night's sleep, especially at night, when she was tortured to the point of being unable to sleep. Yi Chen chose this name in the hope that Yi Qingyao would have a good sleep, be safe and healthy in the future. Mengen, this is a good name, let's call it Mengen. Yi Qingyao knew what his brother meant as soon as he heard it, and his eyes turned into crescents. Yao Yao, try to wear this necklace as much as possible from now on. It has a calming effect and is good for your body. Try not to take it off. Yi Chen warned. Although your illness has healed, the shortfall over the years has not been made up. You still need to rest more. Then I will see if there is any way to make up for the shortfall in your body. Yi Chen felt a little guilty. Yi Chen was too poor before and had no money to treat Yi Qingyao, so he could only buy some cheap medicine to relieve her pain, which could only treat the symptoms but not the root cause. The food was not good either. Yi Qingyao was already sick, and coupled with malnutrition, her body became even weaker. Baichao Nyang can only cure diseases and has no effect of making up for the deficiency. But now that Yi Chen has money, he should look for a solution later. There are all kinds of treasures in this world, they have all kinds of effects, and they all have solutions. Really? No wonder I feel a lot more comfortable. I will definitely not take it off, Yi Qingyao said while touching the necklace. Then he asked cautiously, that must be very expensive. It's okay, it's not much money. That's good, that's good. Yi Qingyao breathed a sigh of relief, then picked up a glass of water and took a few sips. It's just over 1 million, it's not bad, Yi Chen said calmly. Pfft, what, more than 1 million? Before Yi Qingyao drank the water, she sprayed it in Yi Chen's face. Hurry up and take it back. My health will gradually get better. There's no rush now, Yi Qingyao said and was about to take off the necklace. Although Yi Chen transferred 200,000 to her, she knew that Yi Chen might have made some money. If she spends more than 1 million to buy a house, she can still accept it. But spending more than 1 million yuan to buy a necklace made her think it was too wasteful and unnecessary. Yi Chen felt helpless and wiped his face. I told you that your brother can make money now, so don't worry. That's not okay. Spending more than 1 million yuan to buy a necklace is too wasteful. Yi Qingyao took off the necklace and put it in the box with reluctance in her eyes. She really liked this necklace. Yi Chen felt a little distressed and took the necklace and put it on Yi Qingyao again. You have to believe in your brother. Your brother is now earning tens of millions every minute. Just enjoy your life, Yi Chen said softly. But Yi Qingyao wanted to say something else. Yi Chen directly showed his bracelet, then called up his account and showed the balance to Yi Qingyao. This is more than 40 million. Yi Qingyao said in surprise after counting the zeros for a long time. So, you see your brother didn't lie to you, don't take it off anymore. Yi Qingyao nodded obediently. She thought Yi Chen made more than 1 million in the end, but she didn't expect that he actually made 40 million in a trip to the wild. The money was mainly the money earned from the auction of Konoha flowers and the time when they met the warrior team. The Konoha flowers were sold for 35 million, and there was no commission. You must know that Yi Chen still has a lot of money for exotic beast materials. That pile of materials is worth tens of millions, and they are all warrior-level exotic beasts. The leader of the lightning ape and the thunder lizard were at the martial arts level, and some of the strange beasts had spiritual cores, so Yi Chen was not short of money now. I'm showing it to you. I just hope you don't save money in the future. Your happiness is the most important thing. I'll transfer another 1 million to you and buy whatever you want. Yi Chen knows that Yi Qingyao is not the kind of person who spends money lavishly, but still knows how to save. This is a habit developed through so many years of hard life. So Yi Chen directly transferred 1 million to Yi Qingyao. Adding the previous 200,000, Yi Qingyao had more than 1.1 million on his card, making him a millionaire. Yi Qingyao heard her cell phone ringing with a notification that 1 million had been received, and quickly picked up the phone. Staring at the series of zeros on the screen, and then smiling stupidly, for fear that the money inside would fly away. Yi Chen couldn't help but feel a little funny. Little money fan, come over for dinner, don't just eat nothing. Coming. Yi Qingyao promised, but his eyes never left the phone screen. Yi Chen didn't say anything more. Let her be happy. It's rare to have so many small treasury. Yi Chen gave her so much money at once, hoping that she would have the confidence to become more confident in the future. In Yi Chen's concept, he focused on being wealthy. Yi Chen had no sister in his previous life, which made Yi Chen a little regretful. After meeting him in this life, and still being so obedient, Yi Chen naturally wanted to give him the best. After that, Yi Chen left some baichao stuffing in the refrigerator. Although Yi Qingyao's illness was almost completely cured now, there was no harm in drinking more. You can order something to eat later when you're hungry. I'm going to practice. Yi Chen said as he looked at Yi Qingyao, who had not eaten a few mouthfuls. You can practice without worrying and don't worry about me. Yi Qingyao was still immersed in the joy of harvesting a huge sum of money. After eating, Yi Chen cleaned up and returned to the underground training room. Chapter 49 Contact Feng Lian, The Path of Spiritual Practice. Yi Chen went to the underground training room, took off his wood spirit armor, and put on a loose martial arts uniform. I took a look at the time and saw that it was past 7 o'clock. It was still early enough to make a video call with Feng Lian and learn about how to use the thunder beads. Yi Chen didn't hesitate and dialed Feng Lian's number directly. After a while, Feng Lian answered the phone. Feng Lian on the other end of the phone had fiery red hair and was wearing a silk pajamas, which perfectly outlined her figure. Yi Chen was a little embarrassed and his eyes averted. The last time Feng Lian came to enroll students, she was wearing combat clothes and her hair was tied up, which perfectly covered her figure. Moreover, when Feng Lian brought Yi Chen to the Yi family, Yi Chen only admired Feng Lian for the strong. I just felt that this senior had a hot temper and didn't pay attention to anything else. I didn't expect that Feng Lian would look so good just by changing her clothes. Well, her figure is indeed very hot. Yi Chen blushed a little and said shyly, Senior Feng Lian, I'm sorry, there are some things I want to know from you, so I contacted you in advance. It's okay, what's the matter? I just happened to be back from a mission and still have time. Feng Lian seemed not to notice Yi Chen's shyness and said cheerfully. In fact, it doesn't matter if you know it. Although Yi Chen is very talented, Feng Lian is not bad either. Moreover, Feng Lian was already a martial lord at a young age, and Yi Chen was only at that level. In Feng Lian's heart, Yi Chen was just a talented little brother. It is not easy for anyone to practice martial arts. Even if Yi Chen has S-level powers, it is impossible to cultivate martial arts at home. It's hard to say whether Yi Chen can break through to Wu Zun or above in the future. Feng Lian was able to reach the martial master level at such an age, and he knew the experience better than anyone else. She almost died several times, but she was lucky enough to survive and achieve what she has today. I want to ask how to use the thunder beads. I have broken through to the warrior level. Oh. So fast. What level are you at now? Feng Lian raised an eyebrow. Yi Chen was still a little surprised that he could break through to the warrior in such a short time, but not much. In the magical city of Wuhan University, she had seen many people practicing very fast, and some had breakthrough speeds that were faster than Yi Chen. He broke through to the general level in less than half a year, but then he was stuck at the general level, and he didn't break through to the king of martial arts for several years. The 6 months here were not a breakthrough like Yi Chen's, who used his training time, but a real practice day by day. Judging from this speed, it is faster than Yi Chen's normal cultivation. But it was she, Feng Lian, who stood out in the end, so Feng Lian was not surprised when she heard Yi Chen's breakthrough. In her opinion, the one who can keep the speed going all the way and survive to the end is the winner and the real genius. Then you can take the Thunder Pearl directly. You should be able to check these things online. Feng Lian said softly. Yi Chen scratched his head in embarrassment. I also want to ask about other things about cultivation. The teachers in our school may not know as much as the seniors. In fact, Yi Chen had found out how to use thunder beads on the internet before. What he mainly wanted to ask this time was actually about his cultivation route and body training techniques. Okay, just ask. Senior Feng Lian, I feel that my level breakthrough is a little too fast. Is there anything I need to pay attention to when I am a warrior, lay a solid foundation, etc.? I am afraid of what sequelae will be left in the future. If others heard what Yi Chen said, they would definitely think that Yi Chen was in Versailles. Wouldn't it be a good idea to break through quickly? But Feng Lian didn't do this, and looked at Yi Chen with admiration in her eyes. You are right. In fact, ordinary people don't pay so much attention. They only need to break through all the way. After all, with their qualifications, they may not be able to break through King Wu in their lifetime, so they don't need to care about this. But those are ordinary people. For people like you and me who have A-level and S-level abilities, that set is naturally not suitable for us. Although we have good abilities, we only have the qualifications to touch the door. It does not mean that we will definitely be able to break through. Yi Chen suddenly understood. It means that although I have S-level powers now, I only have the possibility of breaking through to the Martial Emperor or above. Is this what you mean? Feng Lian nodded. Yes, my teacher only has A-level powers, but he can still break through to the Martial Emperor, and he is still the strongest among the martial emperors. Why it is said that the king of martial arts is the dividing line in cultivation? It is because when you reach the level of a general, this possibility becomes apparent. No matter what level of superpower you are, you may be stuck at the step of breaking through to the king of martial arts. But the possibility mentioned here is only if both of them practice step by step. Of course, the higher the power level, the greater the possibility of breakthrough. For example, if I had a 90% chance of breaking through to the martial king when I was a general, you would have a 99% chance. Feng Lian gave a metaphor. So high. Yi Chen was a little surprised. You underestimate S-level abilities too much. Although there is still the possibility of failure to break through with top-level abilities, there are not many S-level abilities in the world every year. It is good to have double digits a year. Feng Lian was a little helpless. She really thought that S-level abilities were just a piece of cake. Currently, there are no more than 100 humans in the world with S-level powers. Getting back to the subject, the situation above is a situation where everyone practices step by step along the way. But our seniors discovered that if you lay a good foundation when your level is low, it will increase the possibility of your breakthrough. When you are at a low level, continue to compress and temper the source energy in your body, and maximize the source energy you can store at that level. This way you will be more relaxed when you break through to a large level. Then shouldn't I have broken through to the warrior so quickly? Yi Chen regretted a little. It would have been better if he had polished it more during the awakening stage. Seeing that Yi Chen was a little worried, Feng Lian comforted him, "Don't worry. Only when you break through to the level of a warrior can you truly enter into practice. It doesn't matter if you break through faster during the awakening stage. I have seen many children from aristocratic families break through faster than you. But their foundations are pretty good. Theoretically, polishing during the awakening period can probably increase the probability by 0.5%. This is why I didn't tell you before. And the thunder bead I gave you is for you to use when you are a warrior. After you use it, you will make up for the 0.5% possibility. It doesn't hurt." Yi Chen breathed a sigh of relief. It'll be good if I can make it up. I thought it wouldn't be possible to make it up. Although 0.5% seems to be a small amount, who can tell clearly, what if this will be missing by then? Yi Chen doesn't want to have any regrets in his martial arts journey and wants to be as perfect as possible. Chapter 50 Iron Forging Method, Body Training Method. Then will I start to continuously compress the source energy in my future cultivation? How to compress it? Yi Chen asked. Originally, I planned to contact you in 2 days, but I didn't expect you to be one step ahead of me. I'll send you something. You can accept it later. Yi Chen said. Soon Yi Chen received the document from Feng Lian. When he clicked to receive it, the words, Forging Iron Method, were displayed on it. Got it. Yi Chen nodded. Is this the iron forging method? Yes, this book on forging iron actually has no grade. If I had to set a grade, it would only be a C grade. Why is it so low? This is something that can increase the chance of breakthrough. Yi Chen was a little confused. In the final analysis, the forging method is just a method of compressing source energy. It cannot be counted among the martial arts and combat skills, so it is normal for the level to be low. It is indeed not very technical. You will know after you practice. Furthermore, there are very few people who practice iron forging. Do you think everyone can practice it? Why don't you practice to increase the chance of practicing? Yi Chen didn't understand. Do you think anyone can practice as fast as you? Feng Lian rolled her eyes at Yi Chen. It would be great if ordinary people can practice step by step until they reach the bottleneck. How can they have time to practice the forging method? The essence of the forging method is a process of continuously compressing source energy. Instead of practicing this, ordinary people should practice more combat skills to achieve greater improvement. Yi Chen scratched his head, so that's it. Oh, by the way, senior, do you know of any better physical exercises? I want to try them out. Feng Lian couldn't help but look at Yi Chen a few more times. Do you want to train? I feel like I'm quite talented in this area, so I just want to give it a try. Yi Chen didn't tell the truth. In fact, he didn't want to waste his energy drink. Okay, you can try it. I gave you the iron forging method before. If you want a better body training method, you have to pay for it yourself. Although Feng Lian took care of Yi Chen, she had not yet given away resources. It would be nice to have a few words of advice. Let's wait until Yi Chen really becomes the Phantom Thunder Emperor as his disciple. It's natural. I looked at these few books and they are pretty good. I will send them to you when the time comes. Once you have chosen them, tell me and I will buy them for you. If nothing happens, I will hang up. Feng Lian held her face up and lay down lazily on the sofa. Said. Okay, then I'll trouble senior sister Feng Lian. Yi Chen said politely. Not long after hanging up the video, Feng Lian sent Yi Chen several training books. It's not that Yi Chen doesn't buy it himself, it's mainly because Yi Chen's permission can only see a part of them all, and Yi Chen doesn't have permission for the truly rare ones. This is mainly to prevent some strategic skills from being learned by others. The shopping mall that Feng Lian can see is what real high-level humans can see. In fact, as long as Yi Chen enrolls in Wuhan University, the magical capital, he can also see more items for sale. The main reason is that when new students enroll, there will be a political review process to find out everything about your family background. Yi Chen opened the file and looked at the exercises carefully. Finally, 3 of them were selected by Yi Chen, namely 9 transformations of the golden body, level A. There are 9 levels in total, 1 level and 1 transformation. When practiced to perfection, the body will be indestructible and invulnerable to all forms of magic. Thunder Fire Body Tempering Art, a level tempering the body through thunder and flames. It will be stronger than the golden body art after completion, but the training process will be a bit painful. Star Body Refining Art, level A. It requires the use of star crystals and uses the power of stars to temper the body. After it is completed, the strength is good and it is not painful. Yi Chen checked the price of the star crystal. It was 100,000 per gram, and 1 crystal cost about 50 million. Excuse me. Yi Chen's heart trembled when he saw the price. He didn't know how many resources it would cost to practice to great success. Among the 3 exercises, the 9 turns golden body art is the most expensive, the star body refining art is the cheapest, and the thunder fire tempering body art is in the middle. It is also understandable that the hidden price of the star body refining technique should be the highest among the 3. In the end, after comprehensive consideration, Yi Chen chose the thunder fire body tempering technique. In fact, the 9 turns golden body technique is not bad, but the hair will disappear every time it breaks through. When you finally achieve the Desheng golden body, you will never grow hair again in your life. Although it is said that the less hair a person has, the stronger he is, but Yi Chen still wants to have beautiful hair. It's enough for Mr. Saitama to have one, and he won't get involved. Yi Chen sent the thunder fire body tempering technique to Feng Lian and transferred 32 million to Feng Lian. That's right, this thunder fire tempering body technique is worth 32 million, which is quite a reasonable price. And the 9 transformation golden body art was worth 45 million. If you suffer a little, you can save more than 10 million. Yi Chen still thinks it's a good deal. Do you really want to buy this book? You have to know that practicing thunder fire tempering is not easy, it is very painful. Feng Lian was a little surprised when she saw Yi Chen's reply. Yes, it just so happens that my power is also thunder and lightning. I think this book is more suitable for me. Yi Chen replied. Okay, but I still hope you don't spend too much energy on body training. If it delays your own practice, it will be more than worth the gain. You can control it yourself. Feng Lian warned. Feng Lian didn't directly advise Yi Chen not to practice. After all, everyone's cultivation situation is different. Maybe Yi Chen can really find his own way. How can things about geniuses be viewed with common sense? So Feng Lian did not attack Yi Chen. He believed that Yi Chen had his own judgment, and if he couldn't wait until he came to Shanghai University, he could help Yi Chen over. If something really happens, just spend money to buy a lesson. I've bought it for you. Send me the address and I'll ask him to deliver it to you. Feng Lian replied. Okay. Yi Chen immediately sent his address. Things of this level are classified as top secret and will not be transmitted directly through the network. There will be dedicated personnel to deliver and verify the identity. Moreover, this technique is a consumable. You only have 5 opportunities to learn it, and it will be automatically destroyed after use. Yi Chen opened the virtual network, checked how to use the lightning beads, and then placed an order for the materials needed to absorb the lightning beads. Absorbing the lightning beads is not just a matter of swallowing them. Even if Yi Chen is a warrior, the power of the lightning beads is still too violent and requires some auxiliary materials to help absorb it. Soon Yi Chen placed an order for something worth 1 million yuan. I spent 33 million yuan in one go. It's so useless. Yi Chen felt a little emotional when he saw that there was only 10 million left in his account. I feel like I can start a class on how to get a man to spend tens of millions on me every minute. Yi Chen joked to himself. The body training technique and the materials for absorbing lightning beads will not arrive until tomorrow. Let's start practicing the iron forging technique today. Yi Chen opened the forging method, and a curtain of light appeared in front of Yi Chen. Chapter 51 Back to School, Challenge Coming. There are only a few thousand words in Forging Iron Method. Yi Chen quickly finished reading it and included it in the system. No wonder it's only C-level. It's really different from ordinary training methods. Yi Chen touched his chin. Try practicing once first, otherwise you won't know what will happen. If you increase the training time randomly, I might be a little overwhelmed. Yi Chen didn't want to faint from pain like before. Yi Chen sat down cross-legged and started practicing according to the records of the exercises. In fact, the method of cultivation is also very simple, which is to condense the source energy into a hammer, and then smash it into your own sea of source energy. It's so direct, it's so violent. Yi Chen's spirit sank to his sea of source energy, which is the location of his dantian. Yi Chen's mental power may be stronger because of his 2 lives, and he can easily see inside. Yi Chen slowly began to condense the hammer, but he was still not very proficient. The condensed hammer is a bit rough, like a piece of wood with a stone tied to it. Why does my hammer feel a little shabby? Yi Chen looked at the hammer with disgust. No matter what, just smash it. Yi Chen directly controlled the hammer to hit his sea of source energy, causing a huge splash of water in the sea of source energy. Pfft! Damn, why does it hurt so much? Yi Chen spat out a mouthful of blood and held his stomach. The hammer was smashed apart with one blow. Yi Chen felt that his sea of source energy was about to be smashed open, and his body seemed to be broken into pieces. Fortunately, I didn't use my training time directly, otherwise I'm afraid the sea of source energy would have been smashed. If it was smashed, I would really be a useless person. Yi Chen wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Yi Chen sat up again, and then looked inside his sea of source energy. He found that the color of the sea of source energy seemed to have become a little darker. It was pure white before, but now it seemed to have a touch of yellow. What Yi Chen didn't know was that it would take a lot of time for others to condense into a hammer. When forging, the intensity will be changed according to your own tolerance, and controlled within the range that you can bear. Unlike Yi Chen, who smashed the hammer away with just one strike, he could really break the sea of source energy by smashing it like this. Yi Chen didn't care whether he could bear it or not. His main focus was to use his strength to break through all kinds of magic and just smash it, and that would be it. However, although his method of starvation cultivation is dangerous, the effects are visible to the naked eye. Yi Chen just hit it with a hammer, spit out a mouthful of blood, condensed the hammer, and then hit it again. It lasted for about 2 hours, and Yi Chen couldn't stand it anymore. Let's go here first today. If we hit it again, we will spit out all the blood. Yi Chen turned pale and asked the robot to clean up. Yi Chen's villa comes with its own home robot, which has some commonly used functions. It is equivalent to a butler robot. It can do everything humans can do. There is no need to worry about intelligent robots taking away human jobs. The number of humans in this world is growing very slowly because of alien beasts. In addition, this planet is extremely large, and humans only occupy a small part of it to survive, so manpower is far from enough. The existence of intelligent robots also supplements human resources to a certain extent. Maybe it will become different in the future. Yi Chen has seen the history of this world. Originally, the civilization of this world was very low, but since the awakening of supernatural powers, the level of civilization has been advancing by leaps and bounds. In just a few hundred years, we have gone from the feudal era to the level of intelligent technology. Nowadays, such intelligent robots can be manufactured, which is enough to illustrate the rapid development of science and technology. Perhaps combat robots can really be created in the future to help humans expand their habitat and protect humans. Yi Chen lay directly on the bed next to him and fell asleep, no longer having any strength. Yi Chen slept until the next morning, which was enough to show how tired Yi Chen was. After waking up the next day, Yi Chen took a look at the state of his sea of energy. He found that the source energy in his sea of source energy became less, but the color became darker. After carefully sensing it, although the amount of source energy has decreased, the intensity has increased a lot. Although the amount is less, I feel stronger. Although Yi Chen's face was not pretty, he showed an excited smile. Early the next morning, the things Yi Chen ordered arrived. The first thing to arrive was the material to absorb the lightning beads. There was no process, Yi Chen signed for it and gave it to Yi Chen. However, the physical training technique that came later took a lot of Yi Chen's time. The delivery person was a martial arts master who not only required Yi Chen's face and fingerprint recognition, but also took Yi Chen's blood. Yi Chen didn't dare to say anything more. After all, he was King Wu. He didn't give the box to Yi Chen until he was finally sure it was correct. Yi Chen also used his bracelet to open the box. Inside was something similar to a USB flash drive. Yi Chen didn't take it and start practicing. He had to go to school today. Yi Chen left a note on the table, telling Yi Qingyao that he had to go out and not to worry. Yi Chen went out and took a taxi directly to school. After arriving at school, he found that the school seemed a little different. A crowd of people gathered at the door early in the morning. They were all new faces that I had never seen before. Have this year's freshmen already started school? That shouldn't be the case. We haven't even taken the college entrance examination yet. Yi Chen scratched his head in confusion. Yi Chen didn't want to join in the fun, so he went back to the classroom first to see what happened if Yan Sheng asked him to come back. Just when Yi Chen was about to squeeze in, someone discovered Yi Chen. Yi Chen, you are here, we can win. Yes, look, it's Yi Chen, he must be here to challenge. Some people who knew Yi Chen said. Challenge? What do you mean? Yi Chen was confused. Yi Chen, you're here, come here quickly. Yan Sheng also spotted Yi Chen in the crowd and shouted quickly. Yi Chen had no choice but to squeeze through the crowd and come to Yan Sheng's side. What's going on, Yan Ban, why are everyone blocking the door? Yi Chen pushed his head over and asked. Before Yan Sheng could speak, a burly man in front of him walked up. Are you the abandoned son of the Yi family from No. 2 middle school who awakened the A-level power? The man was very tall and looked at Yi Chen contemptuously with his head lowered. Uncle, who are you? Let me tell you, beating students in school is against the law. Yi Chen was speechless. Who is this person? He was showing off from the very beginning. What uncle? I'm only 18 years old as you. The burly man was a little anxious. You're 18, so you do look a little anxious. Yi Chen was really surprised that such a big man, who looked very old, was actually as big as himself. Humph. I don't want to have a verbal dispute with you. If you are a man, come up and have a fight. If you don't have the ability, get out of here. The man looked livid, turned around and jumped onto a stage. At this time, Yan Sheng said, this man's name is Wu Kai. He is from No. 3 middle school. He has also awakened A-level powers. He came to our arena a week ago to challenge us. Don't we also have people who have awakened A-level, but they haven't won? Yi Chen was a little puzzled. Yi Rongxuan and Chu Tian from number 2 middle school had all awakened their A-level powers, so they shouldn't be blocked by others. They only awakened his A-level in the 3rd middle school. There are 3 in our school. We weren't afraid of him at first, but you are all here. Yan Sheng was a little helpless. Chapter 52, Accepting the Challenge, Lottery. Are they not here? Where did Chu Tian and Yi Rongxuan go? Yi Chen was a little confused. Chu Tian also asked for leave. His father hired a teacher for him and said he would give him one-on-one training. I can't contact him, so I should cut off contact with the outside world. No wonder, I said Fatty hasn't contacted me during this time. It turns out he went to open a small stove. Yi Chen suddenly realized. What about Yi Rongxuan? Yi Rongxuan has transferred to number 1 middle school, and it is said that when Wu Kailai challenged him, there was a shadow of the Yi family behind him. Yan Sheng was a little helpless. Originally, the largest shareholder of number 1 middle school was the Yi family. Previously, Yi Rongxuan could only stay in number 2 middle school because he was not taken seriously. Now that he has awakened his A-level powers, his status in the Yi family has been rising steadily, and he has directly transferred to number 1 middle school. Then now our number 2 middle school only has 2 A-level students, Chu Tian and me. Yes, I originally thought that we would have a chance to compete with number 1 middle school this year, but now it seems that the hope is slim. Who knew that the Yi family would be so cruel? Yan Sheng was a little disappointed. It's okay. If one is missing, his share of resources will be divided between me and Chu Tian. Without him, Yi Rongxuan, our 2nd middle school will kill the 1st middle school this year. Yi Chen patted his chest and comforted Yan Sheng. If you can really make number 2 middle school better than number 1 middle school, I will give you all of Yi Rongxuan's resources. Yan Sheng was also infected by Yi Chen's courage and said with a smile. This is what you said, don't go back on it. Yi Chen also said with a smile. Are the students in your number 2 middle school all cowards? Why don't you hang a banner in front of your school and say that number 2 middle school is not as good as number 3 middle school and they are all cowards? While Yi Chen and Yan Sheng were still chatting, a short boy next to Wu Kai shouted. It's just that, after so many days, there's no one who can fight, so it's better to just admit defeat. In the future, don't call it number 2 middle school. Let's call it number 8 middle school, the 8th of the tortoise. One of our Wu Kai can beat one of your high schools. The people in number 3 middle school kept shouting and talking more and more excessively. Wu Kai just stood there with his hands folded, enjoying the compliments of these people. The people in number 2 middle school were full of resentment, and their faces were all red, but they didn't say anything. Because they really couldn't beat them and number 2 middle school had lost for several days. Is he sent by the Yi family to test number 2 middle school, or is he here to test me? Yi Chen wasn't sure. Yan Ban, let's solve the immediate trouble first. I'll go see what arrogance he has. Yi Chen said to Yan Sheng. Be careful, he awakened an A-level animal transformation power, the earth-shattering giant elephant, which has very strong defense and strength. Yan Sheng warned. Don't worry, I'm going to secure Yi Rongxuan's share of resources. Yi Chen walked straight towards Wu Kai. Since you are so arrogant, how about you let me try to see if you are really as strong as they say? Yi Chen smiled. Is there no one in your number 2 middle school? Send this little guy here. That's right, look at how pale his face is. He's not sick and wants to get involved. Yi Chen practiced the forging method last night and suffered a lot of injuries. His energy and blood were somewhat depleted, and his complexion has not recovered yet. Who are you talking about? This is the awakened A-level super genius in our 2nd middle school. Don't think that you are the only one who has it in the 3rd middle school. Wu Kai is not worthy of holding his shoes in front of senior Yi Chen. When the people from number 2 middle school saw Yi Chen standing up, they didn't care whether Yi Chen could really beat Wu Kai or not. At least they couldn't lose. You finally dare to fight. Wu Kai stood up and looked at Yi Chen with fiery eyes. It turns out they are here for me. The Yi family really wants to test me. Yi Chen thought to himself. The reason why Wu Kai listened to the Yi family was because the Yi family sponsored Wu Kai's cultivation resources. Wu Kai comes from a poor family, and if he wants to go further in martial arts, it is inevitable to receive funding. The students in number 3 middle school are all students from poor families. There has not been a single A-level student in so many years, and the school has received very few resources. Wu Kai's challenge to number 2 middle school was unknown because of the Yi family's order. He also wanted to fight for number 3 middle school. It's just that the competition is a bit boring. How about we add some bonuses? Yi Chen was not angry because of the provocation from those in number 3 middle school, and said calmly. What jackpot do you want? How about 1 million? If I lose, I will give you 1 million. If you lose, you don't have to give. Just say loudly here that number 3 middle school will never be as good as number 2 middle school. How about saying it 3 times? Yi Chen smiled lightly. Road. Wow, 1 million, what a big deal. Brother Angkor, promise him that the money he brings to his door will not be in vain. The boy next to Wu Kai said excitedly. In his heart, Wu Kai was invincible. No one from Tian Air Middle School could survive 10 rounds in Wu Kai's hands. In his eyes, Yi Chen looked like a sick man. How could he beat Wu Kai? Wu Kai frowned slightly, hesitated for a moment, and said, okay, it's up to you. The smile on Yi Chen's face was even brighter. He knew that Wu Kai would definitely agree. Even if Wu Kai accepts funding from the Yi family, 1 million is not a small amount for him. Moreover, his own family background is not good. Even with the support of the Yi family, he still needs a lot of cultivation resources. Now that Yi Chen came to his door, how could he not agree? It seemed like it wouldn't matter even if he lost, but what Yi Chen wanted was for him to say that the 3rd grade was not as good as the 2nd grade. When he was away, number 2 middle school had lost for several days, and its reputation and momentum were suppressed. Now that I have stood up and defeated him, I can't cover up the fact that I lost before. But if Wu Kai lost and said those words, the nature would be different. That means it's not that number 2 middle school is bad, it's just that the people are not there. There is only one A-level superpower in number 3 middle school, Wu Kai. Wu Kai represents the entire number 3 middle school. If he loses, it means number 3 middle school is not good. In the eyes of the world, if you, Wu Kai, are both in the A-level and lose, it means that the 3rd middle school is not as good as the 2nd middle school. And Yi Chen is not the only A-level player in number 2 middle school. The previous defeat in number 2 middle school was just because you, Wu Kai, were not A-level players and you picked a soft persimmon. In this way, the previous impact on number 2 middle school can be resolved. Okay, then let's fight here. Yi Chen asked. Go over there, there's a ring over there. Wu Kai pointed with his finger. In order to suppress number 2 middle school, the people from number 3 middle school specially built a stage at the entrance of number 2 middle school, hoping that everyone would know the power of number 3 middle school. In the past few days, due to the deliberate publicity of number 3 middle school, many people who were not from number 2 and number 3 middle school came to watch. That's great. I was just worried about how to make a bigger splash, but I didn't expect it to come to my door. Yi Chen smiled secretly in his heart. Wu Kai half-crouched, jumped up, and jumped directly onto the ring, blowing up the dust on the ground. Wu Kai will win. Wu Kai is invincible. Seeing this, the people from number 3 middle school cheered excitedly. Yi Chen shook his head. It's true that he is a child at heart. He is so flamboyant even on stage. Chapter 53 Crush. I saw that Yi Chen did not come on stage in a fancy way as the people in number 2 middle school imagined. Yi Chen walked up the ladder step by step onto the ring. When the people in number 2 middle school saw this, they were a little disappointed. They didn't see Yi Chen acting cool as they expected. It's hard to get into the ring, so why don't we give you a pair of crutches? The number 3 middle school students became even more arrogant when they saw that Yi Chen was so ungrateful on stage. In their eyes, Yi Chen was destined to lose today, and he had already received 1 million. What Yi Chen wanted was this effect, to make everyone feel that Wu Kai was very strong and would win without a doubt. And he, Yi Chen, is just a sick man, he has no ability and will lose. The two stood on the ring, and the people below also became quiet. Wu Kai took out a pair of copper hammers from his energy storage bracelet, and Yi Chen was not surprised. No matter how you say it, Wu Kai has A-level superpowers. He must have been recommended by the Sifang Martial Arts School. It is normal to have an energy storage bracelet. Yi Chen didn't take out his weapon, he just stood there with a smile, one hand behind his back, and the other hand hooked towards Wu Kai. When Wu Kai saw this, his face suddenly turned red with anger, and then he threw his pair of copper hammers aside. Since you don't use weapons, I won't use them either, lest you won't admit it even if you win. Wu Kai said angrily that what he wanted was to defeat Yi Chen in an upright manner. If you use weapons to defeat Yi Chen who doesn't use weapons, the victory will not be honorable. Is Yi Chen being too trusting? Yan Sheng frowned, a little worried. Yi Chen shook his head helplessly. If he used weapons, Wu Kai might not be able to sustain him for one round. Wu Kai was only awakened to the 5th level, and Yi Chen was a warrior to the 2nd level, how could he possibly defeat him? The main reason is that Yi Chen is afraid that he won't be able to grasp the scale when using the gun. When the time comes, he will kill Wu Kai with one shot and it will be over. He had never held back when hunting exotic beasts in the wild before, and he had always tried his best. Therefore, he was not sure whether Wu Kai could hold on or not, so he did not use weapons. But in Wu Kai's eyes, he was extremely arrogant, but he didn't know that Yi Chen was thinking about his life safety. Wu Kai was the first to take action. His body was covered in earth armor, with only a pair of eyes exposed. This is his specialty combat skill, called earth-splitting armor, which has good defensive power. Wu Kai came to Yi Chen in a few steps and punched Yi Chen in the face. When number 2 middle school saw this, his heart was in his throat, just when his fist was about to hit Yi Chen. Yi Chen seemed to teleport and took a step to the left, just in time to avoid the punch. Wu Kai's pupils shrank, he didn't see Yi Chen's movements clearly, the punch was empty, he secretly said something bad. His punch was empty, and the left side of his body opened wide. But Yi Chen did not attack, but stood aside and looked at him with a smile. Wu Kai's exposed eyes suddenly turned red, and he raised his fist and hit Yi Chen. Yi Chen kept using 7-star steps to dodge, and from time to time he used his hand to push away Wu Kai's fist. In Wu Kai's opinion, Yi Chen was just teasing him and not fighting him head-on. Don't hide if you can. Wu Kai had already lost his mind. Yi Chen was stunned. He was not playing tricks on Wu Kai just now. He just touched Wu Kai's armor a few times and thought about how much strength he should exert. Okay, since you asked like this, I will satisfy you. Yi Chen stood still. Wu Kai suddenly stamped his feet and rushed towards Yi Chen like a cannonball. Yi Chen still looked calm. This made Wu Kai and the students from number 3 middle school below very angry. Wu Kai punched Yi Chen on the head. This time Yi Chen did not dodge, only Yi Chen raised his right hand. After firmly catching Wu Kai's punch, a wave of air spread from Yi Chen's back, but Yi Chen did not take a step back. Yi Chen let go of Wu Kai's fist and hit Wu Kai's chest with his palm, causing a flash of lightning to appear. Wu Kai's earth-shattering armor shattered directly, and he received the slap firmly. He flew directly to the edge of the ring and spat out a mouthful of blood. The field was quiet for a few seconds, and then the crowd in number 2 middle school erupted into a huge roar. Yi Chen is invincible and will definitely win in the 2nd round. On the other hand, the people in number 3 middle school were completely silent, and their faces looked as if they were dead. No matter how loud they screamed before, they were so quiet now. Yi Chen looked at his right hand and murmured, "My palm thunder feels pretty good." In fact, there is no skill in this move. It just condenses the meteorite thunder in the palm of the hand and then blasts it out. Yi Chen looked at Wu Kai lying on the ground. How about you use a weapon? Wu Kai didn't try to be brave. He knew that there was a big gap between him and Yi Chen. Without weapons, he would have no chance. Wu Kai stood up tremblingly, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and picked up his pair of copper hammers. Yi Chen still didn't take out his weapon, but Wu Kai didn't say anything this time. He knew that Yi Chen had this strength. "You are very strong, but I am not something you can control at will." Wu Kai looked serious, holding both hammers in a posture. Wu Kai did not use the earth-shattering armor this time and directly summoned the earth-shattering giant elephant. Wu Kai's skin turned into thick khaki leather armor, his arms became much thicker, and some earth armor was attached to his palms. Yi Chen looked at Wu Kai and couldn't help laughing. Wu Kai's nose became much thicker due to the possession, and his ears also became much larger. "Why doesn't it feel like an elephant, but like a pig?" Yi Chen said softly to himself. Although Yi Chen's voice was very small, it was still heard by Wu Kai. The main reason why Wu Kai is like this is because he doesn't have enough control over his abilities. It will be much better if his level is higher. Because of this reason, Wu Kai rarely possessed supernatural powers. Now that he saw Yi Chen laughing at him, he was even more angry. "I didn't mean to laugh at you, I didn't." Yi Chen's explanation was a little pale. "No need to say more, let's fight." Wu Kai swung his hammers towards Yi Chen. Yi Chen directly used Xiao Cheng's 7-star step, but Wu Kai's double hammer couldn't hit Yi Chen at all. Yan Sheng's pupils shrank when he saw this, Xiao Cheng level combat skills. In just a short time, Yi Chen had cultivated a combat skill to the level of Xiao Cheng. Yi Chen defeated Wu Kai with his previous palm, and Yan Sheng was not as shocked as he was now. He knew that Yi Chen's superpower was the A-level Purple Extreme Thunder, which had very strong attack power. It's normal to be able to break through Wu Kai's earth-shattering armor, which can be regarded as taking advantage of supernatural powers. But the Xiaocheng level combat skills that Yi Chen was displaying at this moment were different. This is not something that just anyone can do. This is not the advantage of superpowers. Yi Chen is a true genius. Yan Sheng was very excited at this moment. He saw in Yi Chen the hope of the rise of No. 2 middle school. Wu Kai did not have this kind of vision, and some people had never seen Xiaocheng level combat skills in their entire lives. He didn't know how strong Yi Chen's pace was. He thought Yi Chen was just avoiding. Wu Kai used the double hammer. Although it was very powerful, it also consumed a lot of source energy. It didn't take long for Wu Kai to be out of breath from exhaustion. "I know I can't beat you. As a last resort, how about we collide head-on?" Wu Kai stopped his attack and asked. "Okay, one move will determine the outcome." Yi Chen nodded, still holding one hand behind his back and making a gesture of invitation with the other. Chapter 54 Easily Defeated. Yi Chen and Wu Kai stood opposite each other, the atmosphere was tense, and the battle was about to break out. Wu Kai wielded his double hammers, and each swing carried the sound of hunting, showing his powerful strength. Yi Chen stood there, tall and straight, his right hand flashing with purple lightning, as if it contained endless energy. Following Wu Kai's angry shout, he rushed towards Yi Chen like a whirlwind, and smashed Yi Chen with his double hammers like a mountain crushing an egg. Yi Chen flashed and avoided the blow like a ghost. At the same time, he stretched out his hand to grab, and a purple thunder and lightning rushed towards Wu Kai like a giant dragon. Wu Kai danced his hammers, trying to resist the thunder and lightning attack. But the power of thunder and lightning was too strong, and the hammers were almost shaken. Yi Chen took the opportunity to bully him, flashed the lightning in his right hand, and punched Wu Kai directly. Wu Kai had no choice but to receive the punch forcefully, and the fist and hammer collided with each other, making a loud noise. Wu Kai was knocked back several steps, while Yi Chen was as steady as a rock. Yi Chen took advantage of the victory to pursue, his body was like lightning, and he continued to attack. Each of his punches carried the power of thunder and lightning, making Wu Kai tired of dealing with them. Although Wu Kai's double hammers were powerful, they seemed a bit clumsy in front of Yi Chen's speed and flexibility. Under Yi Chen's stormy attack, Wu Kai finally showed his flaws. Yi Chen seized the opportunity and struck Wu Kai with a palm thunder move. Wu Kai fell to the ground, vomiting blood, and lost the ability to fight again. Yi Chen stood there, with purple lightning flashing all over his body, like the god of war descending. He easily defeated Wu Kai with the power of one hand, showing his great strength. From the beginning to the end, Yi Chen fought with only one hand, beating Wu Kai with one hand until he was unable to fight back. The onlookers were shocked. They originally thought the battle would be fierce, but they didn't expect Yi Chen to win so easily. Is this Yi Chen's true strength? It's too scary. People around him exclaimed. Their eyes widened and they looked at what was happening in front of them in disbelief. I originally thought that Yi Chen could tie with Wu Kai at best, but he didn't expect that he would be crushed. He defeated Wu Kai with one hand. How did he do it? At this time, the crowd in number 3 middle school became extremely quiet, as if enveloped by an invisible pressure. Everyone lowered their heads, their faces as gloomy as the sky covered with dark clouds, as if they were mourning for their heirs. Yi Chen is invincible. He will win in 2. Everyone in the number 2 middle school saw Yi Chen defeating Wu Kai in a majestic manner, and the long-pressed emotions in their hearts were finally released. They waved their arms excitedly and shouted this sentence with all their strength. For a time, the entire venue was drowned in cheers and cheers, as if the sky was about to break through. Yi Chen and the crowd also became the focus of the audience at this moment. At this moment, the students of number 2 middle school were full of admiration for Yi Chen and cast admiring glances at him one after another, forming a sharp contrast with the students of number 3 middle school. The victory in this game made the students of number 2 middle school feel unprecedented joy and excitement. And Yi Chen became the symbol of this victory. He used his own strength to prove the strength of number 2 middle school. Yi Chen glanced at Wu Kai, who was lying on the ground. His eyes were as dull as a pool of stagnant water, without any ripples. He put his hands behind his back and looked at Wu Kai quietly, as if looking at an insignificant stranger. You lost. Yi Chen said lightly. Wu Kai struggled to get up from the ground, with blood still remaining at the corners of his mouth. The clothes on his body were soaked with sweat, but his eyes were full of unwillingness and anger. He stared at Yi Chen fiercely, as if he wanted to tear the man in front of him into pieces. However, in the end he gritted his teeth, lowered his head and said, I admit defeat. These 3 words seemed to have exhausted all his strength, making him look a little exhausted. Since you have admitted defeat, let's fulfill the bet. Yi Chen said calmly. Wu Kai's face was so gloomy that he was about to drip with water, but he still stood up with difficulty. He looked at the opponent in front of him who had completely defeated him, and his heart was filled with unwillingness and anger. But as a man, he still has the backbone to be willing to admit defeat. So he gritted his teeth and said word by word, number 3 middle school will never be as good as number 2 middle school. He said it 3 times in a row. His voice echoed above the arena, and everyone, including those who were not in the 2nd or 3rd class, and those who came to watch, heard it. At this time, Wu Kai no longer cared about so much. He just wanted to leave here quickly and didn't want to see the faces of these people again. He knew that he lost miserably in this bet, but he had no regrets. Because he understands that only by experiencing failure can he grow better, and one day he will get back everything he lost today. The students of number 3 middle school looked at Wu Kai's lonely back, their eyes full of resentment, dissatisfaction, distress and unwillingness. They couldn't accept such a result, especially losing to number 2 middle school in front of so many people. They know that Wu Kai tried his best, and the win or loss in this game does not mean that the 3rd middle school has always been inferior to the 2nd middle school. But this time, the number 3 middle school was severely trampled by the number 2 middle school. The only chance to turn around was that Wu Kai's ranking was higher than Yi Chen's in the college entrance examination. In contrast, the students of number 2 middle school have changed from their previous decadence, and all of them have beaming smiles on their faces. Yi Chen's performance was so outstanding, he not only won the game but also defended the dignity of number 2 middle school. At this moment, Yi Chen became the hero in the eyes of the students of number 2 middle school and the leader of this session. Yi Chen looked at the crowd that was gradually dispersing, with no trace of emotion on his face. He said calmly, those who humiliate others will always humiliate them. Since you dare to block the door, you must be prepared to be defeated. Yi Chen is not the kind of person who is overflowing with sympathy. He has no mercy for Sanzhong and Wu Kai. After all, if it was him who lost today, then it would be him, Yi Chen, and number 2 middle school who would be laughed at and insulted by everyone now. He is well aware of the cruelty and reality of this world, and only the strong can stand at the top and be respected. The weak can only be stepped on and bullied. Therefore, he cannot relax even a little bit and must constantly work hard to improve his strength and make himself a truly strong person. After Yi Chen stepped off the ring, the students from number 2 middle school immediately gathered around him. Their faces were all filled with excited smiles, showing great appreciation and respect for Yi Chen. One of the students said excitedly, "Yi Chen, you are really amazing. Compared with you, there is a world of difference between Wu Kai and you. He is no match for you at all." Another student asked curiously, "Senior Yi Chen, how do you practice? Can you tell us some secrets? I also want to be as strong as you." Someone else said enthusiastically, "Senior Yi Chen, if you have anything to do in the future, just ask us, we will fully support you." Faced with these praises and admiration, Yi Chen just smiled and nodded, but he felt a little pressure in his heart. After all, victory in this competition does not mean everything. There will be more challenges waiting for him in the future. More and more people came around, and Yi Chen couldn't resist it. Chapter 55 Before the College Entrance Examination, Cultural Points. It's all gone, Yi Chen, come with me. Yan Sheng appeared in time and helped Yi Chen out of the siege. Yi Chen felt like he was being pardoned, but the students around him were still too enthusiastic, so Yi Chen had no choice but to use his energy and jump. Purple electric arcs entangled Yi Chen's legs, and Yi Chen finally jumped out of the crowd. "Yan Ban, I'll wait for you in your office." Yi Chen ran away without looking back. "This kid is pretty fast." Yan Sheng smiled and shook his head. "Wow! Senior Yi Chen is so handsome." As expected of an A-level superpower, he can easily suppress that Wu Kai. A group of schoolgirls looked at Yi Chen with red hearts in their eyes, and they wanted to catch up. Seeing this, Yan Sheng quickly blocked everyone and said seriously, "What are you doing? There is no class anymore, right? Come back to the classroom quickly." When the crowd heard Yi Chen's words, their voices became quieter, but some people still wanted to follow him. Yan Sheng directly activated the source energy, and a huge coercion spread out from Yan Sheng's body. The crowd instantly became silent. Under the pressure of coercion, it was difficult for them to raise their heads. Yan Sheng did not continue. He just wanted the students to go back to the classroom and not disturb Yi Chen. He just wanted everyone to calm down and listen to what he said by releasing the pressure. "I know everyone is very excited about the victory that Yi Chen brought to number 2 middle school, but I hope you don't forget our defeat a few days ago. I hope that when someone comes to challenge me again in the future, it will be you who stand up. Are you confident?" Yan Sheng said loudly. "Have confidence." "Louder, I can't hear you." "Have confidence." The students below shouted in unison, their faces flushed, inspired by Yan Sheng's words. Next, Yi Chen has to prepare for the college entrance examination. Don't bother him. You also have to practice hard and become the next Yi Chen. Do you hear me? I heard it. Zhang Ding stood by the window of the principal's office, taking in everything below. This Yan Sheng is quite a character. Let him take the test this time. Wang Quan still needs to settle down. Zhang Ding picked up the tea in his hand and took a sip. Yan Sheng didn't know that the teaching director he had worked hard for several years had already been acquired at this moment. The reason why Zhang Ding decided to promote Yan Sheng was of course not only Yan Sheng's ability to teach and educate people, but more importantly, he had a student named Yi Chen. In fact, in terms of teaching performance, Wang Quan's grades are not bad, even a little better than Yan Sheng's. But his student Yi Rongxuan has transferred to number 1 middle school, and now there is not a single A-level student among his students. Of course, this can't be blamed on Wang Quan. It can only be said that he was unlucky. Yi Chen happened to be a leading figure in Yan Sheng's class. As for why Zhang Ding was standing upstairs, he didn't show up when Wu Kai challenged him. The principal of number 3 middle school didn't show up. If Zhang Ding ended up, others would say that number 2 middle school couldn't afford to lose. So even Zhang Ding was anxious in those days, but he had no choice but to watch. Yansheng didn't know that Zhang Ding was watching him upstairs. He organized the students to go back to the classroom and then returned to the office. As soon as he entered the door, he saw Yi Chen making a cup of tea and sitting there. "You kid, you are being unreasonable, and that's right. You are a big star now, and all the students in number 2 middle school are your fans," Yansheng said teasingly. When Yi Chen saw Yansheng coming in, he quickly stood up and gave up his seat. "Isn't this what Yan Ban teaches? As the saying goes, great teachers make great disciples. I have to thank Yan Ban for helping me out." Yi Chen quickly responded with a smile, and then helped Yansheng sit down. "Hey, I don't dare to take it. This is all your own efforts. But you are getting more and more glib." Although Yansheng said this, the smile on his face betrayed his heart. He also knew in his heart that his education had little to do with Yi Chen's strength, but he was still very happy to hear Yi Chen say this. In fact, Yi Chen didn't talk so much in the past, he didn't have so much time, and he didn't communicate much with Yansheng. After awakening, Yi Chen's personality gradually became more cheerful and he talked more. This is the confidence brought by strength. Yi Chen saw Yansheng sitting down and quickly made him a cup of tea. "Yan Ban, is it because of Wu Kai that you asked me to come back?" Yansheng also suppressed his smile and said seriously, "Mainly because of Wu Kai, and also to tell you some things about the college entrance examination. Wu Kai's matter should be the intention of the Yi family. I heard that the young master of the Yi family, Yi Yuntian, also awakened an A-level power. The specific power he awakened has not been revealed. It should be the Yi family that sealed the news. As for the matter between you and the Yi family, it's hard for me to get involved. I may not be able to help you, so you have to rely on yourself." Speaking of this, Yansheng showed a look of guilt on his face. He actually really wanted to help Yi Chen, but he was just a martial artist, how could he possibly be able to compete with the Yi family? Seeing this, Yi Chen quickly comforted him, "I know that Yan Ban has helped me a lot over the years. As for the Yi family, don't worry, they don't dare to touch me. At least now in Yuling City, they don't dare," Yi Chen said firmly. Yansheng didn't ask any more questions. Yi Chen must have his own confidence. A genius like Yi Chen must have been spotted by a big force early on, perhaps a force more powerful than the Yi family. "That's good, but you still have to be careful. I don't dare to touch you on the surface, but I can't guarantee whether there are any small moves in private. You must be on guard against others," Yansheng warned. Yi Chen nodded, "I know. Also, before the college entrance examination, you have to draw blood and record information. These are not a big deal. You come back and we will record it later. After that, it won't be a big deal. By the way, how are you preparing for your cultural classes?" "What? Are there cultural classes in the college entrance examination? Am I not taking the martial arts test?" Yi Chen widened his eyes and asked questions. Yansheng was helpless when he saw this. Seeing Yi Chen like this, he didn't know anything. Even if you take the martial arts exam, you still have 100 cultural points. You don't think that all the people recruited by martial arts schools are illiterate, and your cultural score must be at least 40 points to pass. Otherwise, you may be judged because of your cultural score. You brushed it off. Yi Chen used to work part-time at night, and slept most of the time in class because he was too tired, and his cultural score was a mess. Yi Chen scratched his head and sighed inwardly. "I didn't expect that even after traveling through time, I would still be able to escape the cultural class." But Yi Chen actually doesn't have to worry. Even if his cultural score is not good, he can just use special moves. He now has the energy storage bracelet from Modu Wudafa, how could he not learn it? But if Yi Chen's cultural score is too low, it will be difficult for him to be at the top of the college entrance examination. Chapter 56 Chinese Power. You'd better go to school for the next 10 days or so. I'll make arrangements to help you get a score of 40 on the exam, Yansheng said seriously. In fact, he had always known Yi Chen's situation, and he had reminded him several times about Yi Chen sleeping in class. But later I discovered that nothing had changed, so I didn't say more. After all, he understood that Yi Chen needed to work part-time to make money to support himself and his sister Yi Qingyao. If he is not allowed to work part-time, how will the brother and sister live? Therefore, even though he felt helpless, he could only choose to understand and support Yi Chen. Yansheng held his forehead with one hand, feeling a little headache. Yi Chen had no choice but to smile and did not dare to speak. Just then, there was a knock on the door. "Enter." I saw a burly figure walking in. When Yansheng saw this person, he quickly stood up and said, "Principal, you are here." The person who came in was Zhang Ding, the principal of No. 2 Middle School. Zhang Ding said kindly, "I didn't disturb you." No, I just happened to talk to Yi Chen about the college entrance examination. Some things still need to be decided by the principal." "Oh? Tell me what happened." Zhang Ding also sat down. Yansheng immediately told Zhang Ding that Yi Chen couldn't tell the difference in culture and wanted to arrange for some teachers to give Yi Chen extra lessons. Yi Chen stood aside, not daring to say a word, like a student who had done something wrong. "Of course. You can arrange it directly when the time comes. Just say it's what I want." Zhang Ding naturally knew that Yi Chen had been specially recruited, so it would be fine even if he didn't take the college entrance examination. But it's also nice to be able to sell Yi Chen a favor. "Thank you, principal." Yi Chen stood next to him and said respectfully. Zhang Ding smiled and nodded. "By the way, Yansheng, you should go directly to inform the teachers. Also, go to the Human Resources office. After that, you will have to change offices." When Yansheng heard Zhang Ding's words, his face showed excitement. He didn't know that he was about to be promoted. "Thank you, principal, I'll be there right away." Yansheng saluted and went directly to the personnel office. Yi Chen looked at Yansheng who was leaving and felt truly happy for Yansheng. Yansheng had been a very conscientious and responsible teacher in the past 3 years. "Then I'll go back to the classroom." "Wait a moment, I just have something to tell you." Zhang Ding waved to Yi Chen. Yi Chen was a little confused as to whether Zhang Ding had anything else to tell him, but he still did it obediently. "Your current strength has broken through to that of a warrior, right?" Yi Chen hesitated for a moment and nodded, "I just broke through." Although Zhang Ding had felt it when Yi Chen was fighting Wu Kai, he was still a little surprised to hear Yi Chen admit it himself. "Our No. 2 Middle School is finally going to produce a genius, who is worthy of being an S-class superpower." Zhang Ding sighed in his heart. "In that case, let me tell you more about the college entrance examination. As long as you are aware of cultural issues, it's fine as long as it's not too bad. After you enter the Magic City Martial Arts University, you will be rewarded with corresponding resources based on your college entrance examination scores. However, the ranking here is only based on your martial arts scores, not the cultural points." When Yi Chen heard this, he breathed a sigh of relief. If the cultural points were included, Yi Chen would probably have a headache. Also, some forces will recruit you based on your martial arts score in the college entrance examination. The more outstanding your performance in the college entrance examination, the better the conditions they will offer you. What force? Are there other forces besides the Federation? Yi Chen was a little confused. He had never heard of it before, nor had he seen it in the news. Zhang Ding was not surprised by Yi Chen's reaction. The Federation is only a force visible to the public. It is also the largest force. It is a force that ordinary people can join. But there are some forces that ordinary people don't know about. Maybe they will be made public in the future. I don't know. There are some forces that are specifically aimed at warriors. They are established by some powerful warriors and usually do some special tasks. You will know these after you enter the magic martial arts. Since I have said this today, let me say a few more words. Although we talk about global monetary unification and the human community, we are still unified in dealing with alien beasts. But in fact, it is still divided into East and West. The Chinese Federation where we are located belongs to the East. Since you enroll in Mo, you will not go to the Western forces. I will tell you a few main forces of the Chinese Federation. The first one is the Xinhua Alliance. The leader of this term is Hua Ongua, the strongest player in our Chinese Federation. He is a strong man at the peak of the martial emperor. For those who have the opportunity to break through to the level of the martial emperor, the Xinhua Alliance is committed to continuing human civilization and inheritance. The second one is Taiang Xinhui. You probably won't join. The president of Taiang Xinhui is also a powerful martial artist. However, most of the members of Taiang Xinhui have awakened brain powers and are engaged in scientific research. Today's intelligent robots, weapons, etc. are all related to their research and can be regarded as a force that promotes the development of science and technology. The third one is the Huanyu Pavilion. The owner of the pavilion is also a powerful martial emperor. I heard that they mainly deal with the Gate of Disaster. I don't know the details. I won't say much about the rest. You should know about it later. In general, different forces generally have different positions, but they are all for the survival of mankind. Yi Chen paused and asked, Principal, have you joined any forces? Me? I'm just a small force. You can definitely join a better force. Zhang Ding didn't say which force he belonged to, and Yi Chen couldn't continue to dig deeper. I'm telling you this mainly to give you a sense of confidence, so you can do your best in the college entrance examination. If you perform well, you will get more resources. The most important thing is that if you enter the eyes of high-level humans, your future development will be better, and your safety will be better protected. Yi Chen did have the idea of hiding his strength before. With his strength, it shouldn't be a problem to bring Chu Tian into the magic martial arts. Moreover, his cultivation does not require as much resources as others. He only needs to hunt strange beasts. So he thought it would be fine if he could go in, but after listening to Zhang Ding's words, his thoughts changed a little. Zhang Ding is right, if he can perform well, then he will get more shelter and protection. However, as the attention he receives increases, so does his risk of assassination. But it is absolutely impossible for him to hide the fact that he has S-level powers forever. After all, paper cannot cover up the fire. And with his terrifying cultivation speed, even if he wanted to conceal it, he would probably be powerless. Instead of covering up and hiding his head and tail, it would be better to show his strength openly. Yi Chen nodded, I understand, I will do my best during the college entrance examination. Zhang Ding nodded with satisfaction after hearing Yi Chen's words, I can't help you much in terms of cultivation. You mainly have to rely on yourself. But if you have any problems, just tell me and I will find a solution. Yi Chen was very moved, thank you Principal, I will try my best. Chapter 57 Practicing the Thunder-Fire Body Tempering Technique. In the next few days, Yi Chen studied cultural classes at school during the day and went back to practice forging iron at night. As time passed day by day, Yi Chen's origin sea underwent wonderful changes. The originally transparent Yuan Hai is now covered with a layer of light yellow, looking like a pool of muddy yellow lake water. In this muddy yellow lake water, the source energy flows slowly, as if it is alive. They intertwine and merge with each other to form a strange energy field. In this energy field, every trace of source energy becomes more powerful, as if it has been tempered and tough. Although the amount of source energy in the source sea decreased, Yi Chen felt an unprecedented power. This power does not come from the quantity of source energy, but from the increase in its quality and density. Now the source energy in Yi Chen's source sea has turned into a brass color, and the amount is only about the same as when he awakened to the 8th level. But Yi Chen was not worried at all. He could clearly feel that although the amount of source energy in his source sea had become less, its intensity was stronger. On this day, Yi Chen was listening to the teacher's private tutoring in the office, but Yi Chen looked very weak and a little out of shape. Yi Chen, does your cultivation matter? I see how you look bad these days. The female teacher asked with concern. This female teacher was the teacher who specialized in tutoring Yi Chen's cultural classes during this period. She paid great attention to Yi Chen, not only caring about his academic progress, but also often caring about his physical condition. After all, Yi Chen is now the hope of No. 2 middle school, so there can be no accidents. This is what Zhang Ding told her. Yi Chen smiled gratefully, thank you, teacher, for your concern. I'm fine. I've been practicing a skill recently, but it hasn't been very smooth. The female teacher nodded and sighed softly. Okay, then you must be careful. If you have any questions, just say it. Don't force the practice to leave hidden dangers. What's more, the college entrance examination is around the corner. Don't make mistakes at this time. She has an ordinary D-level superpower and has no martial arts talent. She can't help Yi-Chen even if she wants to, so she can only care about Yi-Chen. Yi-Chen nodded gratefully and continued to focus on the cultural class. He secretly decided to complete the transformation of source energy as soon as possible and end his current state as soon as possible, but now it seems that the time of this process may not be too short. In the evening, after Yi-Chen reviewed the cultural classes during the day, he went directly to the training room. Let's stop forging iron for a while today and take a breath. Yi-Chen looked at the secret book in his hand and couldn't help but feel helpless. It's not that he doesn't want to continue practicing the iron forging method, but the reality makes it impossible for him to do what he wants. He has no extra blood to spit out. If he continues to practice forcefully, he is worried that his life safety will be threatened. Therefore, he decided to temporarily put aside the iron forging method and try to practice other techniques. He thought of the mysterious thunder and fire tempering body technique. Perhaps by practicing this technique, he could strengthen his body and make the subsequent practice of iron forging easier. So, he took out thunder fire tempering body technique from the energy storage bracelet and began to read it carefully. It didn't take long for Yi-Chen to read the exercise book carefully from beginning to end, and the system quickly included it in the exercise column. However, when he truly understood the specific requirements of the thunder fire tempering body technique, he couldn't help but feel a trace of worry in his heart. Why do I feel that this thunder fire tempering body technique is not easy to practice? He had always mistakenly thought that this technique only required the use of thunder, but he did not expect that fire was also an essential element. And if you want to practice successfully, you must have both thunder and spiritual fire. And during the training process, he endured the torture of thunder and fire, gradually increasing the intensity of thunder and spiritual fire, and finally achieving the strengthening of his body. Fortunately, Yi-Chen only had to spend half the money. As for thunder, he believed that the thunder he purchased was definitely not as good as his meteorite thunder. He only needs to buy spiritual fire, but this is also a huge expense. You can't just buy a flame once. Each spiritual fire has a number of uses and is a consumable. Yi-Chen clicked on the Federal Mall and clicked on the column of Heaven and Earth spiritual objects. Ghost Fire, 100 million Federal coins. Dragon Breath Fire, 500 million Federal coins. Purple Lightning Thunder Fire, 300 million Federal coins. Sky Burning World Fire, not for sale to outsiders. Damn, it's so expensive. There are some that are not for sale. I guess it's worth even more. Yi-Chen looked at these top-notch spiritual fires with tears streaming down his face, and he was so greedy. However, Yi-Chen still had the sense to drag them all to the bottom. Lava Fire, 2 million. Wood Spirit Fire, 3 million. Tree Heart Flame, 5 million. Buy a lava fire to try first. If the effect doesn't work, buy the Tree Heart Flame. Yi-Chen thought about it and directly placed an order for a lava fire. Lava fire is actually a spiritual fire born from magma, and is the most common type of spiritual fire. However, although it is common, the effect is not bad, and it can be regarded as a very cost-effective spiritual fire. Lava fire is already in the inventory of Yuling City, so there is no need to send it from far away. After about 30 minutes, the food arrived, just like ordering takeout. Yi-Chen received the goods and returned to the training room. The intelligent robot next to him had prepared several large buckets of water and fire extinguishers. Once something went wrong in Yi-Chen's cultivation, it could be eliminated directly. Yi-Chen took a deep breath and then opened the box. Inside the box was a transparent glass jar. There is a red flame in the glass jar, and there is a trace of black in the flame. Yi-Chen entered the password, opened the jar, condensed the source energy into the shape of a palm, and took out the lava fire. As soon as the lava fire was taken out, the temperature in the training room rose a lot, and Yi-Chen felt a hot wind blowing against his face. Yi-Chen could only grit his teeth and endure it. This was 2 million, so he couldn't throw it away before he started practicing. The thunder and lightning in Yi Chen's left hand flickered continuously, while a flame floated in his right hand. There seemed to be a strange attraction between the two. He slowly sat cross-legged on the ground, closed his eyes, and began to enter a meditative state. Then, he pulled the energy of the meteorite thunder and lava fire into his body. When these two powerful forces were introduced into the meridians, Yi Chen immediately felt that the meridians seemed to burst. A sharp pain hit him from deep inside his body, making him almost unbearable. However, he gritted his teeth, guarded his mind tightly, and guided these two forces according to the route of the thunder-fire tempering body technique. In this dark training room, you can clearly see purple light flowing on the left side of Yi Chen's naked upper body, and red flames flashing on the right side. At this time, Yi Chen's meridians became extremely clear, as if he could see the internal veins through his skin. At this time, Yi Chen felt as if his body no longer belonged to him, and every cell was suffering unprecedented suffering. As soon as the large beads of sweat appeared, they were burned into mist by the flames, making a sizzling sound. His face was distorted to the extreme, and veins popped up all over his body, as if they were about to explode at any time. Ah! Yi Chen kept roaring in pain, and the sound was like a wild beast, resounding throughout the entire training room. However, despite the extreme pain, he still gritted his teeth and persisted, because he knew that this was a process he had to go through. If you can't bear even this little pain, how can you become a strong person? Fortunately, the sound insulation effect of this training room is very good. Otherwise, if Yi Qingyao heard his painful roar, I don't know how worried she would be. Chapter 58 Breakthrough in the early stage of Tongmai. Finally, after about half an hour, the light on Yi Chen gradually dimmed. I saw cracks starting to appear on Yi Chen's body. These cracks started to spread from Yi Chen's head and extended to his feet. They looked like they were about to split apart, which was terrifying. As time went by, the light on Yi Chen gradually disappeared, and the cracks gradually disappeared. At this time, Yi Chen was soaked with sweat and his clothes clung tightly to his body, but his breathing had gradually stabilized. Yi Chen took an internal look at his physical condition and found that his meridians were a little wider than before. Moreover, some of the blocked meridians during previous cultivation were also opened. If Yi Chen practiced the 9 Nether Thunder technique at this time, his training speed should increase by about half. It's just that although Yi Chen's meridians are now broadened and opened up, the condition of the meridians is not good. After all, it was forged by lightning and fire, so the meridians looked a bit broken and dim. I have to repair the meridians first, otherwise forced cultivation may cause the meridians to break, which will be troublesome. Yi Chen frowned and thought to himself. At this moment, Yi Chen suddenly remembered his energy drink. He quickly took out the energy drink and drank it directly. Yi Chen only felt a cool liquid slide down his throat into his stomach, and then spread quickly. His body suddenly became warm, as if wrapped in a warm flame. This comfortable feeling made Yi Chen couldn't help but moan. Immediately afterwards, Yi Chen felt that his meridians began to absorb the energy in the tonic wine. The originally somewhat damaged meridians began to slowly repair at this moment. After a while, Yi Chen was surprised to find that his meridians were back to their original state, and even had a faint khaki color. Originally, the process of absorbing the strength wine was actually uncomfortable, but compared with the previous thunder and fire forging, it was like heaven and hell. In the face of greater pain, small pains turned into enjoyment, so Yi Chen felt comfortable when he absorbed the tonic wine. This is not because Yi Chen has masochism, don't be embarrassed. Yi Chen carefully sensed the status of his meridians, which were much stronger than before. Now if you use your training time on the 9 Nether Thunder technique, you should be able to withstand more power. After recovering, Yi Chen took a deep breath and circulated the source energy in his body, slowly flowing to his limbs and bones. With the flow of source energy, Yi Chen's body gradually became tense. He shouted softly and shook hard, and saw that the skin on Yi Chen's body began to peel off little by little, revealing the white and jade-like skin underneath. Yi Chen stood up, stretched his muscles and bones, and then punched the air forcefully. The wind roared from the fist and made a whistling sound. There was a hint of surprise on Yi Chen's face. I didn't expect that my physical strength would increase so much in just one training session. Yi Chen felt the power surging in his body and marveled secretly. This speed of improvement in strength made him very satisfied. He believed that as long as he continued to practice like this, he would be able to break through to a higher realm in no time. Yi Chen looked at the lava fire and found that after this practice, the lava fire was about 1/3 smaller. He frowned and murmured to himself, "It stands to reason that a lava fire is enough for more than 5 cultivations, but I didn't expect that it would only be enough for 3 cultivations when it came to my place." This means that Yi Chen needs to consume a lot of resources every time he practices. Without enough wealth to support him, it will be difficult to maintain such a practice progress. Thinking of this, Yi Chen couldn't help but sigh. This cultivation is really a money-burning job. According to the current situation, Yi Chen needs to consume about 700,000 federal coins for each practice, and this is only a conservative estimate. When Yi Chen reaches a later stage in his cultivation, he will definitely use more advanced spiritual fires, and the cost will be even greater then. Fortunately, Yi Chen had the heavenly meteor Divine Thunder, which could save a lot of money, but even so, he felt tremendous pressure. It is true that body training is not something that ordinary people can afford. If I didn't have the bodybuilding wine and the heavenly meteor Divine Thunder, I would have spent more than 2 million for one training session, and the effect may not be as good as it is now. Yi Chen sighed with emotion. But after sensing his physical condition, Yi Chen felt that the cost and pain were worth it. At worst, he could just hunt more exotic beasts in the future. Only converting resources into actual combat power is the primary goal, and resources are meant to be used. Combat power and resources are inherently transformed into each other. The stronger the combat power, the easier it is for you to obtain resources. The more resources you have, the stronger you can be, at least for Yi Chen. System, open the panel. Host, Yi Chen. Realm, Warrior Level 2, early stage of Tongmai. Powers, Meteor Divine Thunder, S level, Divine Brewing Gourd, S level, Shadow, S level. Skills, 9 Nether Thunder Ju, S level, Thunder Fire Body Tempering Technique, A level, Iron Forging Technique, C level. Combat Skills, Thunder Dragon Breaking Sky Strike, Small Success, 7-star Steps, High Success, Instant Shadow, High Success. Power Points, 50,000. Training Time, 7 years and 5 months. There is an additional early stage of channeling in the realm column, and he has broken through a small realm in just one practice. Yi Chen is very satisfied with the speed of his practice. The level of body refining is not like that of warriors. Each major realm has 9 stages. Each major realm of body refining only has 3 small realms, the early stage, the middle stage and the late stage. Although it seems that body training is more difficult than that of a warrior, it is not the case. The resources consumed by body training are far greater than that of a warrior. Moreover, the breakthrough of each realm requires a lot of time to polish, and Yi Chen was able to break through to the early stage of Tongmai so quickly. It was also because Yi Chen had been taking bodybuilding wine before, but he didn't have a breakthrough without the physical training method. It was reasonable that he could break through now. The 7 years and 5 months in the cultivation time column were obtained by Yi Chen in the wild that last night. After returning from the wild, Yi Chen was not in a hurry to use his training time. He knew that in the process of practicing the forging method, a slight mistake could lead to the collapse of Yuan Hai. That painful feeling, like being bound by invisible iron chains, made him feel physically and mentally exhausted during every exercise. Every day's practice was like fighting against his own limits. The soreness of his muscles and the exhaustion of his mind were intertwined, as if to remind him that gaining strength was by no means easy. This is also a good thing for Yi Chen. Compared with others, Yi Chen's improvement in cultivation is very fast and easy. Such painful practice can also calm Yi Chen's mind and guard against arrogance and impatience. In the next few days, I will focus on the Thunder Fire Body Tempering Technique first. Yi Chen thought to himself, when the strength of the body training increases, I will take the thunder beads, and the effect will definitely be better. At this time, he is already in the meridian's opening stage. As the meridians gradually strengthen, his body will be able to withstand greater strength. If the energy of the thunder bead can be perfectly absorbed, perhaps the source sea can be transformed into a silver sea in one fell swoop. Chapter 59 Using Practice Time. According to the records in the body forging method, the source energy in the source sea will be converted into yellow in the first stage, which is called the copper sea. When breaking through King Wu, it can increase the chance of breakthrough by 10% to 20%. In the second stage, the source energy turns silvery white, which is called the silver sea, which can increase the probability of 20% to 30%. Most geniuses will choose to break through at this time. In the third stage, the source energy turns into gold, which is called the golden sea, which can increase the chance by 40% to 50%, but few people choose to wait for the source sea to become the golden sea before breaking through. Although the breakthrough probability has been greatly improved, he still wants to transform the source sea into the golden sea. Not only does it require talent, but it also requires sufficient resources and time. This means paying a huge price, so many people are unwilling to take the risk. Moreover, for most geniuses, as long as they can reach the silver sea, breaking through to the realm of King Wu is almost a sure thing. There is no need to pursue higher levels of improvement. Although Yuan Hai's transformation is still helpful to the realm after King Wu. But if too much time is wasted on practicing the forging method, it may lead to more losses than gains. After all, as you age, bottlenecks become increasingly difficult to break through. If you spend a lot of time transforming the golden sea, you will be old when you are already very old. The increase in the probability of breakthrough that the golden sea can bring offsets the negative impact of age, and the final result may be just a waste of effort. However, Jin Hai does allow you to have more powerful combat power at the same level. But the same level mentioned here does not mean the same age, because your peers may have surpassed you by a whole level at this time. Therefore, after weighing the pros and cons, many people choose to give up transforming the golden sea, and instead focus on breaking through to the king of martial realm to avoid falling into endless waiting. But Yi Chen was different. Yi Chen's biggest advantage compared to others was time. Moreover, the source energy tempered by the body forging method also has a very important characteristic, that is, it is permanent. This permanence is not a simple concept. For example, your current source sea has been trained into a silver sea by your efforts. Then from this moment on, the newly added source energy during your subsequent cultivation will automatically turn into silver, and there is no need to use the forging method again. This is all thanks to the special relationship between Yuan Neng and Yuan Hai. After all source energy is generated through the source sea. When you successfully convert all the source energy in the source sea into silver, this silver source energy will in turn affect the source sea, causing qualitative changes in the source sea. In this way, the source energy generated later will naturally turn into silver, achieving a permanent transformation. Therefore, although the process of forging source energy may make you feel extremely painful, but as long as you stick to it and do it right once, it will be very easy later. So this is why Yi Chen hasn't used his training time to improve his cultivation since he started practicing the iron forging method. Because his cultivation level has improved, but the source energy has not been transformed, he will have to spend more time converting the excess source energy. As long as Yuan Hai is completely transformed, Yi Chen can directly improve his cultivation level once and for all. I only have one lava fire now. I should be able to use it up in one night. I might as well buy more. Yi Chen thought to himself. Lava fire is enough for him to use in the channel opening stage, and its strength is also sufficient. So Yi Chen ordered 5 lava fires without hesitation, spending a total of 10 million. However, this expense made his originally relatively well-off account instantly empty, with only a few $100s left. In comparison, even Yi Qingyao is richer than him. Thinking of this, Yi Chen couldn't help but frown and felt distressed. Not long after, the courier delivered the goods. Looking at the 5 sealed jars in front of him, Yi Chen felt that the huge sum of money had really been used. Suddenly, an idea flashed through his mind. Why don't you use your training time to try it? If you use it day by day, it shouldn't cause too much burden on the body. And I also have monkey wine, which has a very healing effect. Yes, it should be able to avoid leaving hidden wounds. Yi Chen touched his chin, his eyes flashing with thought. And Unlike the previous practice of the iron forging technique, the thunder fire body tempering technique requires the help of flames and thunder to continue practicing. Without these conditions, the technique will automatically stop functioning. Therefore, he decided to try to use his training time to complete the training of thunder fire body tempering technique. As for the iron forging technique, no matter what state your Yuan Hai is in, he will practice it automatically, so Yi Chen doesn't dare to use his training time to practice the iron forging technique. Yi Chen took a deep breath, took out the half jar of monkey wine from the energy storage bracelet with a firm look, and carefully placed it in front of him. He stared at the jar of monkey wine and hesitated slightly. Considering that he might encounter unexpected situations, he decided to take out another jar as a backup, just in case. Since he successfully broke through to the warrior realm, the amount of strengthening wine brewed by his divine brewing gourd has also increased, which is enough to meet his needs. At this moment, 2 jars of energy-enhancing wine, half a jar of monkey wine and the remaining 2/3 of lava fire were placed in front of Yi Chen. After completing these steps, Yi Chen first drank a few sips of the strengthening wine, and the rich aroma of the wine filled his mouth. Then he took another sip of the monkey wine without swallowing it. After being fully prepared, Yi Chen once again directed the 2/3 of the lava fire to his right hand, and at the same time, his left hand began to gather the meteorite thunder. He controlled the power carefully and attentively, not daring to relax at all. System: use 1 day's practice time on the thunder fire tempering body technique. As his order was issued, the meteorite thunder and lava fire in Yi Chen's hands rapidly decreased at an alarming rate. In the blink of an eye, lava fire and meteorite thunder merged into his meridians, causing a sharp tingling sensation. Instantly, the left half of Yi Chen's body was surrounded by purple thunder and lightning, while the right half was ignited with blazing flames. Ah! The unbearable pain made Yi Chen couldn't help but scream in agony. The pain was like thousands of fine needles piercing into the bone marrow at the same time, making it unbearable for him. However, despite the pain, Yi Chen still gritted his teeth and clenched his fists tightly, insisting on not letting himself fall. Yi Chen endured the pain until it was unbearable, then he swallowed the monkey wine in his mouth. When the wine entered his stomach, he immediately felt a wonderful change. The body that had been burned unbearably by the lava fire suddenly felt a cool feeling, as if a cool breeze was blowing by in summer. This cool feeling quickly spread throughout the body, and even the high temperature brought by the lava fire was alleviated. Yi Chen's closed eyes slowly opened, and the world in front of him became clear. He was pleasantly surprised to find that his vision was no longer blurry and his thinking became sharper. However, at this time, he still felt countless thunder and flames raging in his body, and the severe pain of his meridians being destroyed made him take a breath. Despite this, Yi Chen still forced himself to pick up the half jar of monkey wine and took a big sip without hesitation. This time, he felt that the pain was significantly reduced, but the uncomfortable feeling was still there. As time went by, his meridians were constantly impacted by fire and thunder, almost breaking every time. But then, the power of monkey wine will come into play to repair the damaged meridians. This process happened repeatedly. Yi Chen's body was under tremendous pressure, his face was as pale as paper, and his forehead was dripping with cold sweat. Gradually, Yi Chen became insensitive to this pain. He gritted his teeth tightly and silently endured the physical torture. In the process, he gradually adapted to this state. Chapter 60: Losing Hair. Time passed quickly, but to Yi Chen, it seemed like a long time had passed. As his body continued to grow, his 5 senses became more sensitive, allowing him to have a deeper experience of the severe pain caused by physical training. At this moment, Yi Chen's whole body was charred black, as lifeless as a piece of black coal. He sat there cross-legged, like a black stone with no other color. However, after a few minutes, Yi Chen finally slowly opened his eyes. At this time, his eyes were shining with a strange light, looking particularly bright and piercing. He slowly stood up from the ground, and every slight movement caused the black skin on his body to peel off. Finally, he shook his body gently, shaking off all the black skin on his body. This time, Yi Chen did not rely on the power of source energy and relied entirely on the power of his physical body. Yi Chen couldn't help but reached out and touched his head, and was surprised to find that the originally thick hair had disappeared. He was startled and rushed to the bathroom. When he stood in front of the mirror, he was stunned by the sight in front of him. In the mirror, he not only lost all his hair, but even his eyebrows were gone, making him look like a hairless man. However, Yi Chen's figure has become better, and his skin is also very smooth and delicate. This is a sign of fewer impurities in the body, making him look more like a pretty boy. Fortunately, the hair will grow back quickly. I didn't expect that I chose to practice the Thunder Fire body tempering technique because of hair loss, but I still couldn't escape the process of hair loss. Yi Chen looked at his bare head and sighed helplessly. But fortunately, he can direct the source energy to his head later, which will speed up the hair growth. In this way, he can restore his original handsome image as soon as possible. Thinking of this, Yi Chen felt a little better. If he had chosen to practice the 9 transformations golden body art, the situation might have been completely different. Because with every breakthrough in the 9 turns golden body technique, the pores will shrink and the growth rate of hair will become extremely slow. Even if it is not mature, the hair will become thinner. And when it reaches Dashang, it will be a perfect golden body. At that time, there will really be no hair on the whole body. Therefore, compared with practicing the 9 turns golden body technique, Yi Chen can still accept that he is now only temporarily hairless. After all, the head can be broken, the blood can be shed, and the hairstyle cannot be messed up, let alone lose the hair. He comforted himself, believing that as long as he kept practicing, he would soon be able to grow new hair. The effect of this monkey wine is too strong. Just 2 sips of it can continuously repair my meridians. Even my previously injured Yuan Hai has been repaired, and there is still energy left to strengthen me. Body. Yi Chen was surprised. He originally thought that monkey wine could only cure some injuries or speed up cultivation, but he didn't expect that it was so powerful. Yi Chen couldn't help but lament that he still underestimated the efficacy of monkey wine. You must know that monkey wine is an extremely precious wine, its value is equivalent to a real treasure of heaven and earth. After just 2 sips, he already felt the huge benefits brought by the monkey wine. Thinking of this, Yi Chen's heart was filled with joy. He also has 9 jars of monkey wine. If used properly, it will be enough for him to transform the source sea into the silver sea and refine his body to break through the meridians. With this monkey wine, my speed of refining my body and transforming the source sea will definitely be greatly improved in the future. Yi Chen said confidently, his eyes shining. Yi Chen felt the surging power in his body and knew that he was about to break through to the middle stage of Tongmai realm. So he decided to strike while the iron was hot and continue practicing, striving to break through to the realm of body refining as soon as possible. Yi Chen thought to himself, anyway, my hair is gone, so let's just continue practicing. Without hesitation he picked up a lava fire again. Since his previous practice had caused all his clothes to be burned, he was too lazy to change them. After all, there was no one else here. So he sat naked on the ground and started a new round of practice. Throughout the night, Yi Chen continued to use strengthening wine and monkey wine to assist his training, consuming all 5 lava fires. Half the jar of Hoer wine was consumed, which doesn't sound like much, but Yi Chen only had 9.5 jars in total, and now there were only 9 jars left. Moreover, this monkey wine requires 1 jar and 1 jar less. It will not be easy to get it later. Although the training process was very painful, he could clearly feel that his strength had been significantly improved. The satisfaction brought by this increase in strength made him intoxicated. At this moment, Yi Chen's eyes were bright and full of confidence. He waved his fist vigorously, and the strong wind whizzed by, making a crisp sound. System, open the panel. Host, Yi Chen. Realm, Warrior Level 2, Middle Stage of Tongmai. Powers, Meteor Divine Thunder, S Level, Divine Brewing Gourd, S Level, Shadow, S Level. Skills, 9 Nether Thunder Ju, S Level, Thunder Fire Body Tempering Technique, A Level, Iron Forging Technique, C Level. Combat Skills, Thunder Dragon Breaking Sky Strike, Small Success, 7 Star Steps, High Success, Instant Shadow, High Success. Power Points, 50,000. Cultivation time, 7 years, 4 months and 25 days. I didn't expect that it would take 5 lava fires to be consumed before reaching the middle stage of channel connection. This is 10 million. Yi Chen had a look of pain on his face. He had no choice but to practice cultivation now. When he came back from the wild, he still had more than 40 million, but he didn't expect that he would be out of money in just a few days. However, he still has a sum of money that Zhao Hai has not sent to him yet, and he is now waiting for that money to live off his life. Let's do this for now. It's daybreak now. Let's go to school. After Yi Chen's body became stronger, he didn't need much time to sleep. Even if he didn't sleep, it wouldn't be a big deal. So Yi Chen was still in high spirits after staying up all night. Yi Chen changed his clothes and went directly to school. He was too busy during this period, so he asked Yi Qingyao to get food by herself. Yi Qingyao did not make trouble unreasonably. He knew that Yi Chen was at the critical moment of the college entrance examination and could not be distracted. Yi Chen went to the office of the teacher, who opened the stove for him as usual. The female teacher looked at Yi Chen and was stunned for a moment, not even recognizing Yi Chen. Yi Chen scratched his bald head in embarrassment. "Teacher, it's me, Yi Chen." "Ah, what are you doing?" The female teacher was a little speechless. Why did Yi Chen feel weak and hairless for a while? Is this a genius hobby? I am practicing a skill recently. This is a process, not something I cut off intentionally. Yi Chen looked at her with a strange expression and quickly explained that it was not like he had any strange hobbies, as he had been misunderstood. "Oh, that's okay, I don't understand this either, you just have to figure it out yourself." She was just a cultural teacher. She really didn't know much about martial arts training, but it was obvious from her look that she didn't believe Yi Chen. Yi Chen couldn't explain it. After all, he looked a little strange now. You are listening to it in Eugene Light Novels.